Good morning. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast. It's Sunday, August the 20th, a date that could be written in history for England as they take on Spain in this World Cup final. We're bringing you live commentary of it right here on Talksport. Coverage will begin at 10. Kickoff is at 11. The team news then for both sides has finally been confirmed. Joe Shannon, our commentator for this game, joins us now with all the very latest details. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Natalie.
Hi,
good morning, everybody. Hello, Cass. England are unchanged following the semi-final victory over Australia here at Stadium Australia in Sydney. So Serena Wiegmann has gone with the same 11 that started the semi-final. That means that Lauren James, who is back from suspension after her 2-match ban, has to settle for a place on the bench. There are no other injury concerns for England. Everybody's fit, firing and ready to go. England have Mary Earps in goal, Jess Carter, Millie Bright and Alex Greenwood, the central defensive three, with Lucy Bronze and Rachel Daly, the wing-backs. Georgia Stanway, Ella Toone and Kira Walsh in midfield, and Alessia Russo and Lauren Hemp, whose goals have been so crucial to England's progress through the knockout stages, are once again the two in attack. These are the England subs: Hampton and Roebuck, the two goalkeepers, Niamh Charles, Lauren James on the bench, as I say, Jordan Nobbs, Lotte Woburn-Moy, Esme Morgan, Laura Coombs, Chloe Kelly, who may well still have a role to play after her heroics at the Euros last summer, Beth England, Katie Zellem and Katie Robinson. The big news for Spain is that arguably their star player, arguably one of the greatest women's players of all time, Alexia Putellas, will begin the final on the bench. She is dropped with the 19-year-old Salma Paraluelo, who has come off the bench to score in both the quarter and semi-final victories for Spain. She is the player who comes in. One change, the team that beat Sweden 2-1 in their semi-final, where Paraluelo became the first teenager to score for a winning side in a World Cup semi-final since Pelé against France in the World Cup in 1958. So Paraluelo for Putellas, that will be hotly contested and debated in Spain, but Jorge Vilda, the much criticised coach who's been under a great deal of pressure before and during this tournament, has made a very bold decision. It means that Kata Cole will be in goal, with Batcher, Paredes, Cadena and Carmona, who got the winner in the semi-final, in the back four. Bonmatí, Aballera and Hermoso likely to line up as the three in midfield, with Hermoso dropping into a deeper lying position. Redondo, Caldente and Paraluelo, the three up front for Spain. They are into their first ever major tournament final. England, meanwhile, into their first ever Women's World Cup final, and the Lionesses aiming to lift the trophy for the very first time in their history. Spain against England, live at Stadium Australia on Talksport.
Joe, thank you very much. You can join Joe and Leanne Sanderson then for commentary of that game with the kickoff at 11 o'clock. As you can imagine, there is huge anticipation ahead of this final. Many venues will be opening up right now, if not already open, welcoming fans in to watch. And one of those is Box Park in Wembley. Let's take you there now. Our reporter Angelina Kelly is there for us. Angelina.
Yes, I am here. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know that all three box parks actually sold out in 8 minutes.
Wow.
The capacity here at Wembley is 1,500 and it's already filling up pretty fast. I've got two fans with me here. One is Farah, who is the vice chair of the Arsenal Women's Supporters Club, and another Arsenal fan, Rebecca. You guys have been here pretty early, haven't you?
Yeah, so we got here at 8 o'clock, so 3 hours before kick-off, but it's never too early.
And you were second in the queue?
Yeah, second in the queue. There's still a few people right behind us, so yeah, just had to get there quite quickly.
And obviously you guys are such big supporters of Arsenal and the women's football in general. How big is a day like today for you?
I think, yeah, it's probably the biggest day. I mean, you know, I think we all expected that a final could happen, but actually watching the girls perform, just winning in such a humble way, just quietly going about their business, and now they're in a final and every expectation is for them to win it, because that's the expectation now. So that's amazing to see, because England are never favourites and now we are.
And of course we just heard on Talksport the reaction to that team news. Lauren James on the bench, are you happy with that?
I think it's the right decision. I think, you know, the last few games it's worked so well. Start to, we can bring Lauren James on as a super sub, fresh legs if we need to, but I think, yeah, definitely the right decision.
And how will you guys be celebrating when England win, because we're going to be positive?
Oh,
Oh, I think it's going to be a big night. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen at work tomorrow, but we're definitely going to celebrate together. I mean, the atmosphere here is already incredible, and just having such a sellout crowd here, it's going to be an incredible day.
And finally, some predictions.
I'm saying 2-1 to England.
2-0 England.
Who's scoring?
I'm going to go for Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo.
Yeah, I'd go along with that, but I'm saying Chloe Kelly to score the winner again.
Love it.
Angelina, love the positivity from the England fans, and yes, they have been arriving early to get their prime position to watch at Box Park, that one in Wembley, where Talksport will be at throughout the day. Now, all morning we have been building up to this World Cup final, and earlier on we were fortunate to be joined by the Euro 2022 player of the tournament, Beth Mead, who unfortunately can't be with her England teammates and part of the squad due to an ACL injury. But she told us how proud she is of her teammates.
Obviously, what we did last summer, you can tell what it means to the girls and how close we are as a group. So I know this time round it'll have been the exact same. And like you said, their friends, their family, and yeah, of course I want them to do well. And I'm so proud of what they've done so far.
Tell us what you've made then of England's route to the final. How you think they've fared throughout this tournament so far.
I mean, people are always critical of us. Obviously, we've won the Euros now and people expect us to play 10 out of 10 every game. And in football, that's not always the case. I think the girls have got the job done in a few games. They've not played their best football, but they've grown into the tournament and hopefully they're peaking at the right time now. You know, you've seen a Germany or a Brazil get knocked out in the group stage and not played well, but you know, it's a sign of a good team when, you know, you're not being playing your best football and you're still getting through games. And I think, the Australia game was probably our best game that we'd played so far. So fingers crossed the next one is even better.
One of the outstanding features, Beth, has been, you know, the 3-5-2 that has worked brilliantly well. And look, initially England struggled, as in not getting goals and didn't quite look it fit, but the coach stayed with it and the players have believed in it. And now you're seeing, you know, obviously the results of staying with something they believed in. People
just believe in Serena, you know. What she does, there's always method in the madness. And because, like I said, we're so close as a team, you trust in each other that you're going to do the job that you've been given. And obviously, like, Alessia and Lauren Hemp are playing as a front two right now. And Lauren's thriving doing it, and so is Alessia. So, yes, I think it will have been a little bit weird for them because it's not something we've been used to as a squad, that formation. But, yeah, they're thriving under it right now.
It is a huge final that we're looking forward to, and no one wants to jinx it, Beth, so we're not going to ask for a prediction or anything like that. But what do you think the legacy of this particular World Cup will be, and how important do you think funding will be for it to continue to grow women's football?
It's been so important. I think that obviously I'm working with the National Lottery at the moment. Over the last 10 years, they've invested 50 million into, you know, women's football, grassroots. I went down to a team the other day who had been invested by them. I actually was invested by them myself when I was younger by one of their schemes, and it's not easy. And the game's even more competitive now that it's, you know, becoming increasingly hard. So the support that we can get from, you know, the National Lottery and other programs and stuff like that will be amazing. Because ultimately we try to create a legacy that lasts a lifetime, and for the next generation, you know, to push on. So fingers crossed, people keep jumping on board. And if you're not doing it now, I don't know what anybody else is doing.
So that was Beth Mead, who joined us earlier on, and we asked her about the whole, would she bring in Lauren James? And I don't know what it was. I can't quite even remember how she answered it, but how she answered it made me think she knows it's going to be an unchanged team. And that's what it is for England then, heading into this final. Serena Wiegman sticking with the team that got them through the semi-final, as they were brilliant against Australia, Cass. I mean, we're seeing all the images now. There's images here of people heading to whatever venue they're going to with face paints galore, England shirts adorned, flags everywhere as well. What is so wonderful to see is that this is gripping the nation. Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't it? You know, you look at the game, you look at the experience, and obviously watching all the games, and England have progressed. And I think I'm only talking within my own family and friends how many of them have sort of enjoyed the experience of watching the England team play and loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Well, we've had loads of you getting in touch this morning about it, and we do appreciate it. Here are some of the more of your thoughts. Mike the Burnley fan. 1921, the FA banned women from playing football. Fast forward to now, this is the biggest day for English women's football. So the whole country is behind the Lionesses as they get ready to put right what is a century mistake from that in terms of banning football in 1921. Dan, the Oxford fan, I have to openly hold my hands up and say I haven't been a fan of the women's team in the past and can openly be critical about them. But now I have to say I just cannot wait for today. The spirit among the ladies is brilliant. He says, do it for all the girls out there who dream of playing football one day. And so many of you have echoed those sorts of sentiments. Anita, as a girl growing up in the 70s, I would never believe that one day I'd be putting up the bunting and flags ready to watch England's women in a World Cup final. Cass, the stage is set. We will be back next weekend where hopefully we'll be looking back on what has been a wonderful final for England. Talksport, we are right behind you, Lionesses. Go and do it for us. Enjoy it. Our listeners are right behind you as well, and they've been sending their messages.
Commentary. The final of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023.
Spain versus England on Talksport.
What a ripper!
History has already been made with the Lionesses reaching their first ever World Cup final and England's first since 1966. Now only Spain stand in the way of the European champions achieving World Cup glory.
There are rare moments that not only define you, but an entire generation.
Hurst has got three, and England have become the world champions.
Moments which echo through time.
Chloe Kelly rips off her shirt, and a nation dares to dream.
It's a funny thing, pressure. Some falter.
Some thrive.
Back towards Ella Toon! Finds the top corner! And what a stage upon which to score it!
These chances don't come around often.
Remember that.
The Lionesses have done it! Through to a World Cup final for the first time ever!
You yourselves can become the sweetest of memories.
Become unforgettable.
And for the first time for any England senior side since those famous fabled days of 1966.
You're in a major final.
A place where victory has been no stranger.
England are European champions for the first time in their history.
This the greatest moment in the history of English football.
Fight for that turf. Fight for that space.
Make it yours.
Make it England.
Rousseau to finish it! Alessia Rousseau sends England to the World Cup final!
You'll face adversity.
There will be pain. There needs to be passion.
Hemp is there! Hemp has put it in!
It's time to commit, to rise to the occasion.
The authors of history are eager to write your name.
A team of players who never rest on their laurels, who always show strength in adversity.
So take this opportunity.
Transcend those who have come before you. It's time to become immeasurable.
Hemp is through! 2-0 England!
It's time to do the impossible.
Finds the corner! Alessia Rousseau for England!
It's time to join the immortals.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now. It's four.
The Lioness fairy tale has its perfect ending, and let that magic soak your spine.
I'm letting it. Goosebumps again. And as Sir Jeff Hurst says, it's time to join the immortals. The Lionesses have that opportunity Lucy Ward spoke about today at the World Cup final. I'm Faye Carruthers, live from Wembley's Box Park. Fans have been queuing up since 7 a.m. this morning. Tickets sold out in just 8 minutes as well. And we're just a stone's throw from where the Lionesses won the Euros a little over a year ago. We partied here till the early hours. Then will we be partying into the early afternoon today? The front and back pages of the Sunday papers are dominated by the Lionesses. The legacy of that Euro success has seen 2.4 million more women and girls participate in football in the past 12 months. Just imagine what winning a World Cup could do. And what a rollercoaster ride this past 32 days down under has been. The highs of China, Colombia and Australia, the stress of a penalty shootout, the lows of Lauren James's red card, and don't forget the twists and turns of Kira Walsh's injury. Now all we need is the corkscrew to open the bottles to celebrate. That is at least 90 minutes away though, as England's journey culminates in a World Cup final against Spain in Sydney. 13 goals scored, 3 conceded, a tournament in which England boss Sarina Wiegman has had to constantly find solutions to new problems. This time, with 23 players available, it's a really good problem to have. The big question, though, on everyone's lips is, will Lauren James start for the Lionesses after serving her 2-game ban for violent conduct? Should we find out? Team News is in. Let's say a very good morning to our match commentator, Joe Shannon.
Good morning, Faye. Good morning, everybody. It's 6 minutes past 7 local time in Sydney on a dark night in the Australian midwinter. The floodlights are on at Stadium Australia, and England have elected to go with an unchanged side from the semi-final. That means that Lauren James, after her 2-match ban for her stamp on Michelle Alozie in the round of 16 win over Nigeria, has to make do with a place on the bench, as Sarina Wiegman keeps faith with the side that impressed so much in that last 4 win over the co-hosts. So it's Mary Earps in goal, Jess Carter, Millie Bright and Alex Greenwood the back 3, Lucy Bronze and Rachel Daly are the wing-backs, with Georgia Stanway, Edda Toon and Kira Walsh in midfield. Lauren Hemp and Alessia Russo are the 2 up front. Everybody else is fit and firing and ready to go for England, so Lauren James is on the bench alongside Niamh Charles, Jordan Nobbs, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Esme Morgan, Laura Coombs, Chloe Kelly, who may well have a part to play after her Euros heroics last summer, Beth England, Katie Zellem and Katie Robinson. The 2 England goalkeepers on the bench are Hannah Hampton and Ellie Roebuck. As far as the Spain side is concerned, the big contention pre-match would be over whether Alexia Putellas would retain her place in the starting 11, arguably one of the greatest women's players of all time. At this dramatic stage of a World Cup final, Putellas has to settle for a place on the bench, and that means that Salma Paraluelo, the 19-year-old who plays her club football at Barcelona, who has impressed so much coming off the bench at crucial stages to score in both the quarter and semi-finals of this tournament, is the player who starts through the middle for Jorge Vilda's side in Sydney this evening. So Putellas only on the bench, Paraluelo into the side, and she became the first teenager to score for a winning team in a World Cup semi-final since Pele in 1958, when she scored the opening goal in the 2-1 semi-final defeat of Sweden just under a week ago. So Spain have Kata Cole in goal, Bacha, Paredes, Cadena and Carmona the back 4, Bonmarti, Aballera and Hermoso in the middle, Redondo and Caldente either side of Paraluelo up front, Faye.
Very much, Joe. Alongside Joe, an England legend who won a World Cup bronze medal back in 2015. Happy World Cup final day, Leanne Sanderson.
Good morning, Faye. I'm so excited, honestly. I can't believe it. As if we're saying those words are coming out of our mouth. England women are in a World Cup final. How amazing is that?
I know, every single time I say it, I get goosebumps again. It's just incredible. I really didn't think things could get better after that European final success last year. I can't believe that's just over a year ago. We were talking on the Women's World Cup Daily Show, weren't we, earlier in the week, about whether Sarina Wiegman decides to start Lauren James tonight or not. She has decided to leave her on the bench. Right decision for you?
Yes and no. I mean, in Sarina we trust. We always say that, don't we, Faye? I think, obviously, Lauren James is quite fortunate the players actually got to the final, because obviously she missed those 2 games, and just because they're here means that she's available. So it makes sense to me, back-to-back games, unchanged lineouts. We've got that back 3 in there now. But I think, personally, I would play Lauren James because she's one of my favourite players to watch. But I completely understand why Sarina Wiegman would go with an unchanged team, bring her off the bench, bring Chloe Kelly off the bench and Beth England, and we win the World Cup. It's as simple as that, Faye.
Oh, so easy. Don't worry. Let's just fast forward over the 90 minutes, shall we? And do it Leanne Sanderson's way. Jorge Vilda for Spain has gone the other way, decided to start the player that has come on as a super sub for them in Salma Paraluelo. We've spoken about the attributes that she has, but I mean, to start the game as well, what are England going to need to do to keep her quiet?
Yeah, do you know what? It sounds crazy to say with Alexia Putellas being on the bench, but I think it's the correct decision. Paraluelo's come off the bench and scored 2 goals, that have got them through. I think she's not just an impact player. Sometimes when you do those types of things, you could be kind of pigeonholed into being a super sub. I think Paraluela will cause a lot of problems for this England back line. Yes, the back three, Jess Carter, Millie Bright and Alex Green would have been exceptional during this tournament, but I think they would have preferred going up against, Esther Gonzalez or Jenny Hermoso. I think that obviously Hermoso's still playing, but I think Paraluelo stretching the field will allow Hermoso to get underneath, and we saw that when she comes into the game they look better. So if they can implement that game plan from the get-go, it's going to cause England a lot of problems. And obviously Bon Mati, Pep Guardiola is saying she's the female version of Iniesta, coming from one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the world, just about sums her up. She's a fantastic player, and I actually think she plays better when Alexia Putellas isn't on the pitch. We saw that with Barcelona this year, and Alexia Putellas will probably come off the bench. She isn't fully fit, Faye. We've seen that during this tournament. She started 3 games. She is the best player in the world, but she's coming back from an ACL injury. So, she doesn't look at it, but definitely a player that they'll be looking to bring off the bench and can make that type of impact because she does have the quality.
Yeah, I'm going to let people into a little secret. We've still got our little WhatsApp group from the Euros last year, haven't we? The wonderful Talksport team that we had down here at Wembley, and that's exactly what you were saying in that earlier on, that Bon Mati just flourishes without Putellas there. She wants to be the star, doesn't she? Just another quick one, Leanne. They are into the final, the Lionesses. They've already made history, but just try and sum it up for me if you can, what it would mean to actually go and win it.
I think, it's hard to put into words. When I woke up this morning, I certainly felt like I was playing on my way in. I messaged a lot of my former teammates, Lucy Bronze, Alex Greenwood, a lot of the players, Kira Walsh as well, to say good luck and bring it home, and it's nice that they responded as well, because when you're preparing for a game like this, your phone doesn't stop going off. But these are the moments you play for. This is why, I started playing football as a 5-year-old. You're living your dream, and to play in a World Cup final, I got to the semi-finals of England in 2015. I played in the European Championship final in 2009, and these are the moments you play for, and I genuinely believe under Serena Wiegmann we can definitely do this.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. And I mentioned that team that we had at the helm of the team, our GOAT at the top was Talksport's Adrian Durham, and I'm delighted to say he's with me here at Box Park. You've disappointed me though, Aid, I have to say. Look, I've smartened it up. I've got a blazer on top of my Lionesses shirt. You always bring the England magic, and today, no England shirt.
I woke up and I thought it's going to be a bad omen for some reason. I thought, I've got 3 England shirts. I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. It's a shirt, it's a jacket, it's a World Cup final day. But what I also woke up with was emotion. I mean, I started to feel a bit teary, a bit, like I was going to have a little weep earlier today, because they're in a World Cup final and it means so much. And I'll tell you back to November 2021. I was at Doncaster for a qualifier. England beat Latvia 20-0. I was alongside the brilliant Flo Lloyd-Hughes that night. We had an absolute blast. And then it was trying to persuade people, well, actually, there's an underdevelopment in various countries. That's why football there's such a gulf between some nations. Just a week before, England's men had gone to San Marino and won 10-0. So it's no different in the men's game as well. But all that persuasion has been helped along by England winning the Euros, and now England in a World Cup final. And even though pre-tournament I tipped Spain, I'm so desperate to be wrong. For the first time ever, desperate to be wrong.
I tipped England, don't worry, I'll balance this out.
I'm desperate for you to be right.
It's absolutely fine. Look, the atmosphere was absolutely incredible a year ago. It's obviously slightly different because the tournament is in Australia, so the times are different, but you can still feel the buzz around the country.
Oh, absolutely. The nation is gripped. They said on the weekend Sports Breakfast a moment ago, the nation is gripped, and it absolutely is. I've been to Leeds Friday night, Liverpool yesterday afternoon, I was at Man City last night. Everybody wanted to talk to me about this World Cup final and whether I thought England were going to win it. It was the main topic of conversation. And you come here, 1,500 people buzzing in here, and this is what it was like pre-Euros for the men. So there seems to be no difference whatsoever. If you can't... Look, you're a football fan. You love England. This ticks the boxes. So if you're not into this, I'll be very surprised. So yeah, the nation is gripped, no doubt.
Yeah, listen, Stadium Australia is the venue where England will face Spain, hoping to bring it home. The Lionesses have already knocked out co-hosts Australia there. Could it be a lucky omen? It was also the scene of Johnny Wilkinson's drop kick to win England the Rugby World Cup 20 years ago. Our England reporter for this tournament, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, is there in Sydney. I've got massive FOMO, Courtney. What's the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it's incredible. Both teams have come out for the warm-ups. big cheers for both. I think it's quite an even split actually of England fans and Spanish fans, and just going through the warm-ups now. But even before the game, I think we were there 4.5 hours early, and even round the stadium it was buzzing. So I'm expecting a fantastic night.
Have the Australians switched allegiances now they're out?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a few about, and I think I told you guys all the way through the tournament they were sort of saying, look, the Lionesses are our second team. I think dumping them out of the semi-finals, I'm not quite sure there's as many Australian fans as there would be if we didn't. But no, it is a fantastic atmosphere, and yeah, the stadium's really filling up quite early.
So the players have just come out for their warm-ups. Have you noticed anything yet? Everyone looking good?
Yeah, nothing specific, but yeah, everyone's looking good. Obviously, goalkeeper's always out earlier, so they were going through their drills for a while, but just watching Spain now, they're going for a bit of a rondo, quick 1-2 touches as you'd expect from them, and the England girls are just going through their sprints, getting ready to go into the ball work. Looking forward to it. Speak to you soon, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk at Stadium Australia in Sydney. You're listening to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 on Talksport in association with Xero small business accounting software. Dream bigger. You're listening to the Women's World Cup final live on Talksport. I'm Faye Carruthers. Around 40 minutes to kick off in Australia. We have a team there, and we're here in Box Park in Wembley with 1,500 England fans. The World Cup's been dominated by off-the-field issues between players and their federations. Even the Lionesses have temporarily parked a dispute with the FA over bonuses. But one of the darkest shadows has loomed over Spain, with players on strike, accusations of bullying and intimidating behaviour that have resulted in players writing an open letter to their governing body. Talksport's Uma Gaurav explains how a split Spain have reached the World Cup final in almost impossible circumstances.
England are European champions for the first time in their history.
Last summer, England's Lionesses became national legends. But the same could not be said for the Spanish women's national team. Another major tournament, another disappointing result for a side that seemed so stacked with talent.
Spain were the better team, but now they've lost twice in 8 nights, and they will ask how.
Then, on the 22nd of September, 15 identical emails were sent to the Spanish Federation by members of the women's national team who declared their refusal to play for their country. According to the Federation, the email contained claims that the Spanish manager Jorge Vilda was having a detrimental impact on the emotional well-being of the players. But the Federation threw their support firmly behind the manager, says senior content editor at Spanish media outlet OneFootball, Alejandro Diago.
That letter caused a huge earthquake in Spanish football. The following day we saw in some papers one front page with the headline, "The blackmailing is unacceptable."
The next day, the Federation announced they were banning the 15 players from representing their country until and unless they apologised. But the fans were not happy. The trend #VildaOut has become popular on social media as fans express their disapproval of the handling of the dispute. But in a press conference in September, Vilda remained adamant that he was the right man for the job.
I call upon the players I have trained during my career. If the treatment you have received from me has ever not been exquisite, I challenge you to come out and say there's been some disrespect or some fault in my behaviour throughout my entire career.
The incident has invited speculation and debate, leading to questions around the wider treatment of mental health in the women's game, says Talksport producer Angelina Kelly.
If people are coming to you with a problem, to completely turn around and say, we don't believe you, you need to apologise for this, otherwise you can't return to work, it's absolutely appalling.
Of the 15 players who sent the initial email back in September, only 3 were recalled for the World Cup.
Missing Mapi León is missing one of the best centre-backs in the world. Jorge Vilda will be judged by this World Cup. If Jorge Vilda makes a very good World Cup, I think he will be extended with Spain. And that means that some of the players, they will not go back with the national team.
Despite turmoil and controversy, Spain have made it to the final of the 2023 Women's World Cup. And when they take to the pitch to face the Lionesses, far more than just a world title will be on the line.
Brilliant stuff there from Talksport's Uma Gaurav, just giving us all the background on what Spain's players have had to go through to get to this point. Adrian Durham and former England striker Leanne Sanderson are with me. I mean, Leanne, it's quite incredible they've even made it to this point. You know, it's been highlighted when you see the photos after the semi-final win over Sweden that the players didn't even celebrate with the manager. Relations have just seemed frosty throughout.
Yeah, and I think you have to give a lot of admiration to the players that are actually there. I mean, 12 of them are not there. Some of the best players in the world, Mappy, Leon, Patry, Paños, Pina, you know, the list could go on that are not there. But the players that are there, you can see sometimes these things can bring you closer together. And, you know, adversity is always part of the women's game. Unfortunately, there's always issues. But the fact that they've got to the final, I know it split a lot of people's feelings based upon how the Spanish Federation have handled this situation. So the fact they've got to the final is quite incredible, really, based upon the fact of the players they don't have. And you'd think kind of like, you know, you see all these video footage of the manager not celebrating with the team and those types of things. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after this tournament. But similarly to England, to a certain degree, I mean, they obviously did that letter before the tournament about the equal pay, and they put it to the back seat during this tournament. So I have a lot of admiration for these players out there today, because a lot of them are thinking about other stuff before the tournament, having to kind of get on and play. And it's what we do in the women's game, Faye. We've had to do it for years, and thankfully now people are getting on board. So the Spanish Federation, you know, they have to take a look at themselves for sure. But the fact they're in the final, hopefully it won't overshadow what actually needs to be done off the field of play with regards to these players' mental health. And those players that are not there, I'm sure they're certainly feeling it today, a mixture of emotions.
It's really difficult though, isn't it? Because Jorge Vilda, the manager, his dad is head of the women's department at the Spanish FA. So there's a massive conflict of interest there.
Just a little bit.
So yeah, and it almost doesn't... There's a really tough thing, right? So you know, I work on various different podcasts for women's football, and the big feeling is very much, if Spain were to win today, how much of a smack in the face would that be for women's football?
Yeah, but all they can do is play the game that's in front of them. You know, if they wanted to boycott, they should have boycotted the whole tournament. We've seen the US women's national team threaten to do that when they were doing the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. So, you know, if they're here, as a player, you show up, you play for your country, it's what you do. So, you know, if they were going to boycott, then they should have done that before the tournament. They're here, they're not going to go out there and throw games, you know, and I think you have to give a lot of credit to them. But it's a difficult one, Faye. It's a catch-22. Because if they go on to win this today, then it almost makes everything seem okay that's gone on.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely not okay.
No, it just sweeps it under the carpet, Adrian, doesn't it? Which is not what anybody wants.
Yeah, I mean, that hashtag builder out that Una was talking about in the piece, I've just done a search on it, even this morning, on the morning of a World Cup final. You know, feelings incredibly strong. You know, the reports were, the rumours were he was checking bags, hotel doors had to be open until midnight, things that were totally unacceptable. And I can't understand how he's still in place. And I agree with Leanne, full respect to the players, those who decided they didn't want to play for this manager, and those who probably didn't want to play for him but did want to represent their country at a World Cup. Incredibly difficult, and the players shouldn't be put in this position, and they've got to a World Cup final. Whatever happens today, you've got to admire those players who decided to stay at home and those who are playing today.
Yeah, Leanne, you know exactly what it's like to be in an environment you're not comfortable in. How do you carry on as a player like that?
Yeah, it's difficult, Faye. It really is, because I've been in that many moments playing for the Lionesses where I've had coaches that I didn't feel like understood me and have kind of ostracised me. And I feel like with these players, at least 12 of them have stuck together. And I agree with what Adrian said. You can't fault the players who are out there, but when I had moments playing for England in my career, I felt like some people didn't support me in the way they should have, and I don't hold that against them. Some of them are in the squad today, and good luck to them. But for me, it's almost like the morals and the peace of mind that I have, that's how I sleep at night. So it's not an easy situation. It's something, why would me at the Lionesses, I carry them every single day, Faye, you know that. You know, so it's almost like when I do the games, I want the team to win, I want them to do well, but it's certainly moments in my England career do hurt me with how they made me feel and how they treated me.
Yeah, I'd love to know where Mappy Leon, Patrick Gaiaro, Lucia Garcia, Sandra Panos et al. Are watching the game today. It must be so tough for them. This is Talksport. We're building up to the Women's World Cup final, England against Spain. Just over 30 minutes away. We're at Box Park in Wembley. It's packed with England fans. Our reporter Angelina Kelly is with some of them now. Who have you got with you, Angelina?
I have actually got an avid listener of the Women's World Cup show, the Talksport podcast. If you don't know about it, you need to get to know. I've got Holly here with me now. I've heard that you were here extremely early in the morning. You've been actually borderline battling for tickets to get into Box Park because the atmosphere is going to be so good.
Yeah, we were here on Wednesday for the semi-final, and it's just such a great atmosphere. It's just such a
amazing thing to be watching it with so many people who are all back in the Lionesses. So yeah, got here as early as we could to try and secure a spot for today.
And I know that you are, a big women's football fan, big Manchester United fan, cheering for Mary Earps today. How much would this mean to you for England to win this World Cup?
Everything. I think, England haven't been to a final since '66, and, the women's game has just come so far. It is, as a woman, as a girl playing football growing up, it just means absolutely everything, and to see the support as well. The whole country getting behind the girls, it's phenomenal.
And I hear you've got one player in mind that you are desperate to get a goal today.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team are phenomenal and they've just had such a good tournament, but Lucy Bron's got to get a goal today.
And what is your prediction, including that Lucy Bron's goal?
Including the Lucy Bron's goal, I'm going 2-1 England normal time.
Perfect, amazing. And like I say, the atmosphere here is really starting to build. It's sold out Box Park and everyone's just counting down the minutes till kick-off.
Yeah, just over 30 minutes until kick-off. Brilliant taste, by the way, Holly. Excellent stuff listening to the Women's World Cup Daily. We'll have a pod tonight for you, a show as well going out later on Talksport 2. Myself, Leanne Sanderson, Adrian Durham, Jenna Scalacci, former Tottenham captain, who'll be with us later as well, analysing, hopefully, fingers crossed, a Lionesses win. You're listening to the FIFA Women's World Cup Final 2023 on Talksport in association with Xero Small Business Accounting Software. Dream bigger. You're listening to the Women's World Cup Final live on Talksport. I'm Faye Carruthers. Around 25 minutes to kick off in Australia. We have a team out there in Sydney. We're here in Box Park in Wembley with 1,500 England fans ready to roar the Lionesses onto success. This England side have inspired a whole new generation of women's football fans and female fans too. And here at Talksport, we asked some young supporters to write letters to their heroes in this fantastic Lionesses team.
The middle, through towards Russo. Russo in the area. Russo to finish it! Alessia Russo sends England to the World Cup final.
To all the Lionesses, you're an inspiration to us and we love you. Good luck for Sunday from Flossie.
You inspire me and I hope one day I can also be a Lioness and play in the World Cup just like you. Do it for England. Come on, the Lionesses.
Take two. Georgia Stanway makes no mistake. Rolls it into the bottom corner. And England are off and running.
You never give up. You're an incredible team and I know you're going to do it on Sunday. Good luck and let's win the World Cup. Come on, England.
I hope that one day I can follow in your footsteps and play for England just like you.
Great feet wide, put it short. Into the corner. Lauren James scores in a major tournament for England. What a moment!
Hi Lionesses, it's Cinders from Watford, Rachel from Watford,
Frankie from Watford, Noah from Watford,
and we just all want to say we believe in you and good luck for the finals.
Chloe Kelly from the spot to send England into the quarter-finals! She does!
I will try my hardest every day to be just like you so I can inspire the Chloe Kellys, the Alessia Russos and the Brooke Toolans of the future. Come on England, bring it home.
And the goalkeeper's dropped it. It may be put home. It is. Hemp equalises for England.
To the Lionesses, my name is Evie and I'm your biggest fan. As a 12-year-old girl who loved playing football, you've inspired me so much and I can't wait to watch you in the World Cup final.
They're going to be in a World Cup final, the Lionesses, for the very first time in Lionesses history.
Dear Lionesses, over the last few years, you girls have become my heroes and have inspired me so much. Go and lift the trophy for everyone back home. Come on, England!
Oh, amazing. I wish I could play that to the girls before they go out in the tunnel. I mean, I know they've got other important things, but this is the most important thing, isn't it? Inspiring huge, huge change. World Cup bronze medalist with England, Leanne Sanderson, and Talksport's Adrian Durham are with me. I mean, the FA's Inspiring Positive Change strategy outlined 8 transformational objectives to be achieved, Leanne, by 2024. And that open letter from the Lionesses in 2022 asking for every primary school-aged girl in England to have equal access to football in schools was finally achieved in March this year. And it's just incredible what legacy this group have made already.
Absolutely, and I think visibility is everything. I think the timing is everything as well. You know, obviously everybody bought into the TV coverage, radio coverage, showing the games. Everybody can make their own judgments about the players, and I think these players have always been those kind of role models. As a female player, you always are a role model, but then at the same time, now people can visibly see that, and girls, seeing is believing, Faye. And I think back in the day, you know, one game a year used to be on the TV, that was their FA Cup final. Now young girls, even young boys, can see these girls and aspire to be them, and it's so fantastic. And you see now, you know, young boys walking down the street in a Leah Williamson jersey and Alessia Russo jersey on. Those days when I used to walk down the street in my Manchester United shirt, I used to get comments, I used to get people saying stuff. Those days are gone. So the visibility is there, in partnership with the fact they won. They're absolute rock stars. They deserve all the accolades they're getting, and long may that continue. And I think people used to say to me, when is women's football going to go to another level? When is it going to be on the television? I said, you know what, I don't know the answer to that. I did not imagine in the space of a year and a half how much the women's game is more visible now. You know, you saw the billboards at Tower Bridge, London Bridge last year. And I said, if people don't know about something, how are they supposed to come? Now everybody can see it visibly, and long may that continue. It will no longer be a conversation of us selling out stadiums. It's the new norm, and long may that continue, Faye.
Yeah, sell-out crowds, 2 at Wembley for USA, and the finalissima against Brazil as well. On the road, sell-outs too. And this stat fascinated me. Awareness of the England senior women's team has more than doubled since June 2022 in girls aged 5 to 16 in England. And Adrian, that's exactly what Leanne is saying. You have to see it to be it and believe it, and finally they can.
Yeah, the visibility is there, as Leanne was saying, and I think I want to give you a man's point of view on this. About 20 odd years ago, my daughter was about 2 or 3, took her to her first women's game. It was an Arsenal European tie. Emma Byrne was in goal, Leanne's old teammate, absolutely magnificent. It kind of took me by surprise, because the narrative around female goalkeepers was that they were all terrible, all going to make mistakes, all 5'0". She was fantastic, the best women's goalkeeper I've ever seen. Ellen Maggs up front that day was absolutely magnificent, and that started my interest. But I've been guilty of it in the past, like many others, kind of dismissing women's football as not being as good as men's football, and dismissing it for that reason. I think the big legacy is that a lot of men will understand that actually this is really good quality. It is competitive football as well. Yeah, there's the legacy of the visibility and the investment that's come into football. Girls' dreams not being dismissed. They can now go on and play for England. They've seen women do that, and they can be winners with England as well. But I think from a man's point of view, there's far more understanding, because the context is there. We now understand the history of why women's football was banned, why that was so wrong, and that's led to the underdevelopment of the game in this country and around the world as well. So I think that context is a huge part of the legacy, the understanding.
And I also think we've got to stop comparing. There is no direct comparison because of the history of the women's game and what it's had to contend with. And I spoke to Andy Jacobs on Hawksby and Jacobs earlier on this week about that. It's like, why is there always this constant comparison going on?
It's a grey area, I think. When we heard earlier Pep Guardiola says Bon Mati is the Iniesta of women's football, of course people think that's the comparison. I kind of get why it's a grey area, so I'm kind of relaxed about it, but I do agree with you. Just treat it as women's football. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. And the woman who's been behind the success of the Lionesses in recent times, of course, is Sarina Wiegman. And I mentioned earlier on the amount of solutions she's had to find before this tournament and then during it as well. She says they've always got a good plan in place for whenever the team is hit by injuries or suspensions.
What we do all the time, you know that we have a team of 23. When we came here, we were 25, so if someone would get injured, we had 2 players ready to jump in. And you also make a plan, so if someone gets injured, what's the next step for the team? Who's then ready to play? And that's what you try to do all the time. And of course, when someone gets injured, it's first of all really disappointing and sad for the player herself, but for the team then too. But it also gives a chance for someone else to step up and then show what you can do and take responsibility. And that's what this team has done again, and over again, because we had some more things to overcome during the tournament. And I think so far we have showed so much resilience and found a way to win all the time.
Yeah, they find a way to win, and they have that resilience. And I love the fact that Sarina Wiegman always just says the team. She takes no credit whatsoever for where they've got to, which is quite incredible, bearing in mind she has an unprecedented achievement of reaching 4 consecutive finals. which is just mental. It's 2 countries she's done that with. I feel as if her achievement is so underestimated, Leanne.
2 countries that had they weren't the favourites going into these tournaments, Faye. I think that's massive, and I absolutely love Serena Wiegmann. You know that, Faye. We talk about her all the time, and I'm just so delighted that she is with the Lionesses. She's been a big catalyst after Phil Neville. He came in, didn't quite work out. I love Phil Neville, but it didn't work out with the Lionesses, and she's come in and just taken this team to another level, and I just hope we can keep hold of her. I genuinely do. Not talking about men's football, talking about the fact the US Women's National Team just parted ways with Vlatko and Donosky the other day. There's been rumours about them wanting her, and I just hope we can keep hold of her. I know she's come out and said she'll stay with us. She's got a contract until 2025, but she is just massive with this team. How amazing is she?
She is incredible, and you expect a coach like that to be linked with every single job, but too late, USA. You got knocked out of the last 16 stage. She's with a successful team now. Adrian, all the links with Gareth Southgate's job and taking over the men's team. My personal opinion is that's not the conversation for right at this moment, and why every time a female coach is successful do they immediately have to be linked with the women's game? What's your take on it?
Exactly that. I think if you look at it in isolation, we should be focusing on a Women's World Cup final rather than should she take over from Gareth. He's got to focus on the Euros next summer as well. So you're right, it's not a conversation for right now. In isolation, would she be good enough to take over the England's men's team? I can't understand the reason why not. I was listening to White and Jordan last week and saying, well, the women's level is women's game's at a certain level. It's got to get to another level before we can consider it. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I don't understand it. This is about managing individuals, putting together a team, coaching a team as well. For me, she's ticked all those boxes, but I'm really glad she's managing the England women's team. And as long as she doesn't go to the US, I'm fine with her staying with the England women's team.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. You're listening to the Women's World Cup final live on Talksport. Stay with us because kick-off, England versus Spain, just over 15 minutes away here on Talksport. You're listening to the Women's World Cup final live on Talksport. I'm Faye Carruthers with just over 10 minutes until kick-off in Australia between England and Spain. We have a team out there in Sydney. We're here at Box Park in Wembley with 1,500 England fans getting ready to support the Lionesses as they go for World Cup glory. The closing ceremony is underway at Stadium Australia. Our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is there. How are they wrapping up this incredible tournament, Courtney?
Yeah, they've got a concert going on in the middle of the pitch at the moment, the fireworks and fire show. It's absolutely unbelievable, and I think it's quite difficult though for the players. It takes them out the routine. They came off the pitch at 5:30 earlier than they would usually do, so I suppose that's the time where they're maybe sitting in the changing rooms and then nerves are maybe setting in.
Yeah, how does it feel as a player? Bring in Leanne Sanderson here, who's obviously taken part in a World Cup semi-final, winning a bronze for England back in 2015. What are the players going to be going through at the moment, Leanne?
Oh, it'll be excitement. You can't wait for these games to come around. It's an evening game, obviously, in Australia, and they would have been mentally. We saw them walking around today, going for their pre-match walk. They look really, really calm and relaxed. And once you get on that bus, you start listening to your music, different people prepare in different ways, and you just can't wait for these moments to come around. And I'm sure there's a lot of emotions, and it's about managing your emotions. It's a World Cup final. I know Millie Bright said, we prepared every single game the same. I genuinely believe that. But you don't know how you're going to feel until you get out there. I think with the semi-final against Australia, for example, the Aussies just couldn't quite get going. I think the occasion got to them. So today I think it's a matter of managing their emotions and expectations, and I think we can definitely do this for sure.
Yeah, the light show that I'm watching currently is absolutely incredible at Stadium Australia. I heard what the captain, Millie Bright, said about her pride in wearing the armband for the Lionesses at this World Cup final. I can't even imagine what it might be like for her to potentially lift the trophy in, fingers crossed, just over 90 minutes time, Courtney.
Yeah, it's crazy really, because she was probably at a point where she didn't know, first of all, if she was going to make the World Cup with her injury. Obviously, and we didn't foresee everything that happened with Leah, so the fact that she's in this position probably a year ago, she never would have imagined it. So it's a fantastic moment for her, very, very proud of what she's achieved. But again, yesterday she looked really calm, really composed, and very grateful for the opportunity. But as I've always said throughout this tournament, there is such a sort of a calm, quiet wouldn't say confidence, but just focus about this team, which in turn I think for me makes me feel a lot calmer going into this game as well.
We can hear the strains of Atomic Kitten, Southgate, you're the one. But it's Serena, you're the one. I love this song, and the flags and draped around the shoulders of all the fans here at Box Park is absolutely incredible. I feel so nervous, Adrian Durham, but excited at the same time. What is it that this England side bring to the country in terms of the togetherness that you see today?
By the way, I was about to start singing then, and I realised my mic was live, and that would have been the day the music died.
Thank you for saving us.
You didn't need that, especially ahead of this huge game. Listen, there is a togetherness with the team, and I think that transmits to everybody. And England have to be a team today. I'm glad they were unchanged because they played so well against Australia. Spain can pop it around, zip it around, and they can pass around anybody. They actually dominated the stats against Japan, got battered 4-0. The reason was twofold. Spain didn't put away their chances. Japan were absolutely devastating. I suspect that it'll be one of those rare games where Spain dominate the possession, and England will have to get used to that. They'll have to adapt to that. But England, if they get chances, and they will have chances, simply have to take them like Japan did.
England did adapt to it in the quarterfinals of the Euros, Leanne Sanderson, didn't they? And Serena Wigman had said before that game that they would have to cope with being frustrated at times. Bearing in mind what happened with Lauren James in the Nigeria match and the frustrations that overspilled seeing her then sent off, I feel like this is a lesson that the England team have learned.
Yeah, and I think they overcome every single challenge that's thrown in front of them. The game against Spain in the Euros last summer when Georgia Stanway scored that amazing goal, Rachel Daly was playing in at left back. You know, now she's playing in that more advanced role, kind of like a wing back now as well. So she had a really torrid first half, made up for it in the second half, and I think this is a real team effort. You know, apart from Lauren Hemp and those types of players, I feel like the whole team collectively, 1 to 23, keeping everybody happy, Faye. I promise you, I've been in that environment in a major tournament when there's a lot of players that haven't played at all. It's very difficult to do, and I think Serena Wigman has managed this team magnificently well. She's been here herself with the Netherlands, 4 years ago, so she'll know how her emotions will be feeling, being able to feed into the players those types of things. And I think the Euros last summer is a good rehearsal for this, isn't it? Playing at Wembley in the finalissima against Brazil, playing in front of sold-out stadiums. I think these players have all played in massive games. Lucy Bronze, Kira Walsh, playing in Champions League finals, winning. The players are now used to these types of moments.
That's going to be absolutely key. They look fully focused in the tunnel, standing out, about to walk out at Stadium Australia. A year ago, the Lionesses' open letter to the government said this is only the beginning. The European champions now stand in the tunnel, ready to walk out and write the next chapter in their incredible history. Is it coming home? How are your nerves? Mine are completely wrecked. Wherever you're listening, sit back and try to enjoy it in the company of Leanne Sanderson and Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Faye. Good morning, everyone. The Lionesses' day of destiny has arrived. Just over a year after becoming European champions, Serena Wigman's England bid to lift the Women's World Cup for the first time ever. That silver and gold trophy is being placed on a plinth right at the heart of the tunnel here at Stadium Australia. Beneath the floodlights, a spectacular light show going on. And not since those great glory days of 1966 have we seen a senior England side on the cusp of World Cup glory. But the Lionesses are here to take what once looked like an impossible dream and make it reality. The trials and tribulations of a tournament down under have been dealt with the class and quality you'd expect from a team of proven winners. And England are now just one game away from the greatest prize of all. Only Spain stand in their way. Millie Bright leads the England players in the tunnel. England are wearing their blue tracksuit tops. Bright stares dead ahead, the England captain. There are smiles on the faces of a couple of the England players. Georgia Stanway and Lucy Bronze towards the back of the queue, neck and neck almost with their counterparts from Spain, only a couple of feet to the left of the England players. The atmosphere is really starting to build in the middle of the Australian winter. Fireworks going off at Stadium Australia here in Sydney. England have been into the Lions' Den on more than one occasion across this tournament so far. Here at this stadium, they've got the job done, and now can they get through the final furlong? Leanne Sanderson alongside me.
Yeah, I have a good feeling about this one, Joe. I think the feeling's there. I think it was, like I said, a good rehearsal last summer, winning the European Championship. I don't think there's a better time than today to do this. You know, you look at the likes of USA out, Brazil, Germany, the path became clearer. The Lionesses topped the group. I know a lot of people said the performances weren't at the races, but at the same time we topped the group and on we go. Yes, against Nigeria we got a bit lucky, but I think you make your own luck in football. Against Colombia and Australia we were exceptional.
Masses of photographers pitchside, and as Leanne said, if Euro 2022 was the dress rehearsal, then this, the FIFA Women's World Cup Final 2023, is the main event. Young mascots make their way out onto the field of play, holding onto the flags of both sides. A group of young women holding onto the flag of St George, red and white. And here come the two sides. England led by Millie Bright. To our left as they emerge from the tunnel as we look at it, Mary Earps, the England goalkeeper, just behind her. Bright with those eyes wide with concentration. Next to her counterpart, the captain of Spain, Olga Carmona. And the Women's World Cup Final is now just moments away, live on Talksport. England unchanged. Lauren James on the bench after her suspension. Earps in goal. Carter, Bright and Greenwood the defenders. Bronze and Daly the wing-backs. Walsh, Stanway and Toon in midfield. Hemp and Russo up front. For Spain, Coll is the goalkeeper. Batcher, Paredes, Cadena and Carmona the back four. Bonmarti, Abellera and Hermoso in midfield. Redondo, Caldente and Paraluelo up front. Alexia Puteas is left on the bench. And now those flags have been unfurled. The photographers turn their attention towards the halfway line. This spectacular venue with the floodlights on. England as we look to the right of the halfway line. The Spaniards to the left. And now the national anthem of Spain. Face of the Spain coach Jorge Vilda, a man under great pressure before and during this tournament, but Spain just a game away from glory, as are England. You know this one. Stadium Australia, watching in pubs and clubs around the country, listening live on Talksport to the sound of the national anthem as the England players and their Spanish counterparts begin the handshakes before kick-off. This, the greatest stage of all. How can England, how will England stand up to the pressure of an occasion like this? Former Lioness Leanne Sanderson ahead of the World Cup final.
Yeah, I think you've only got to look at in 2015 when we got the bronze medal. We celebrated that like we had won the World Cup. That would have been an underwhelming tournament if we were in that game. We're in the final. I genuinely believe these players can do it. It's set up for them to succeed with the manager they have. All the players seem to be able to implement the game plan. We've gone from a back four to a back three seamlessly during this tournament, and I think our back three have been absolutely brilliant. They really have. Lauren Hemp as well, playing up with Alessia Russo. Nobody saw that one coming. And Serena Wiegmann always gets her team selection spot on, and these players always seem to find a way. Having said that, it's not going to be easy. Spain are a top team, and we have to be concentrated over the whole game.
England all in blue for the final. It is 8 o'clock exactly, local time in Sydney, 8 o'clock in the evening. Relatively mild for the middle of the Australian winter. England in their sky blue shirts and shorts with dark blue trim and white socks. Spain in the red shirts, dark blue shorts and dark blue socks. This is one of 450 live commentaries across the Talksport network that we'll be bringing you across the course of this season. So much more to come in the Premier League, the EFL, the WSL, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup and Euro 2024 next summer. But first, one of the most important days in the history of the English game. For the Lionesses, a chance to achieve the sport's greatest honour, a chance to lay to rest the ghosts of past World Cup failures, and the day lifting the most coveted trophy the game can provide is potentially upon them. It is Spain against England in the 9th Women's World Cup final, and we are about to get underway. England into a huddle ahead of kick-off, led by Millie Bright. The Spaniards to the left of the halfway line have got their entire squad and staff involved in the huddle. Of course, there is this player versus FA dispute that started pre-tournament and is very much carrying on within Spain. A lot of people not happy with the head coach, Jorge Vilda, but for Sarina Wiegman, deserved and universal praise from all quarters. Sarina Wiegman has never lost a competitive match in charge of the Lionesses.
No, she hasn't. That one defeat came against Australia back in April. And I just have a good feeling about this team, Joe. I genuinely think we can win this game. Like I said, they've got some top players in this team. We have to make sure we take care of Paraluelo and Bon Mati, and they've got some top players, so it's not going to be easy.
The floodlights are on in Sydney. 75,000 packed inside the stadium. Can the Lionesses bring football home? The World Cup final is about to get off and underway in Sydney, down under, live across the nation on Talksport. England all in blue with white socks, playing from right to left in the first half at Stadium Australia. Early touch for Jess Carter, who hammers the ball long over the halfway line, headed away by the Spain left back Olga Carmona. Spain playing from left to right in the first half. Our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is live in the stadium. We'll be across to Courtney throughout the entirety of the final. We have our hosts Faye Carruthers and Adrian Durham in Box Park near Wembley Stadium, and it's myself, Joe Shannon, and the former England striker Leanne Sanderson with you for commentary of an historic occasion, the first World Cup final contested by a senior England team since 1966. As an early collision between Lauren Hemp and Paredes, the Spain central defender, ends with Hemp lying across her face on the turf. England had possession deep inside Spain territory. We've had just under a minute. Spain 0, England 0. Live on Talksport, and Lauren Hemp is back on her feet, Leanne.
Yeah, and that's good to see. I think one thing we'll have to do in this game is be used to not having as much of the ball. We know this Spanish team like to possess it, move around the field of playing triangles, and that's something we're going to have to look to. I think we can counter them at times. I think Paredes sometimes gets dragged out of position.
Hemp's flicked header towards Alessia Russo, hooked away by Paredes over her shoulder, and out of play for an England throw on the far side of the field. What an adventure it's been for England, who've had to negotiate a penalty shootout in the round of 16 against Nigeria, and the tense quarter-final and semi-final victories as well, including knocking out the co-hosts Australia in the last 4. But England have dealt with everything that's been thrown of them. Can they go all the way? As Spain clear long through Paredes up towards Paraluelo, who's been so outstanding in the quarters and semis for Spain, coming off the bench to score important goals. She gets the nod up front for Spain today, with Alexia Putellas left on the bench. 0-0 in the second minute of the World Cup final. Early touch for the Spain goalkeeper Kata Cole away to our left-hand side.
Yeah,
no Putellas in the starting lineup.
Yeah, big call from Jorge Vilda in that situation. Best player in the world, but she is coming back from that ACL injury. 3 starts in this tournament. She's kind of having to still manage her minutes, having come back from that. So she is the best player in the world. I've no doubt she'll come into this game, but the focus for me has to be on Bon Mati. Kira Walsh has to do a job on her today in order for England to win this game, because she's so influential in those areas. And that switch ball from Carmona to Redondo is something they got a lot of joy with in the semi-final as well.
All the reaction to whatever happens in today's Women's World Cup final, plus Premier League goals as they go in at 1:30 on Talksport with the Sunday session, followed by the final word with Majestic and Alan Pardew later. 03717 22 33 44 to have your say. Paralluelo deep inside the England half, twisting and turning inside the penalty area. Can she play the ball back to the edge of the box? There's an opportunity for a cross from Batcher from the right. That's blocked by the face of Millie Bright. 0-0 in the World Cup final, Spain against England. That's a poor ball out of play by Teresa Abellera, and a goal kick which England's Mary Earps, all in green, will take away to our right-hand side. You're listening to Talksport.
Yeah, good defending again from Millie Bright in the right place at the right time. Una Batcher was getting that ball down the right-hand side. One thing they have to be mindful of, Paralluelo dragging players out, making those runs in behind are going to cause England all sorts of problems. It's important the back three are disciplined and make sure they go with Paralluelo, because she's a really, really good player.
And further reaction to the World Cup final tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. on Talksport Breakfast with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend. Jeff Stelling will be part of the Talksport Breakfast presenting team from December. Had a lot of Lionesses build up this week. Lauren Hemp is chasing the ball down the England right, and across comes the centre half Paredes of Barcelona, who started every single Spain game at this Women's World Cup to knock it out of play for an England throw deep inside opposition territory. It's been a relatively cagey start to the final, as you would expect on such a big stage, such a big occasion for every single one of these players. Spain 0, England 0, it remains. The ball is on the England right with Lucy Bronze, who lofts it across towards the near post in Emma Toone, headed away only as far as Rousseau. Hemp will strike it, and it's a shot that's straight at the goalkeeper. Easy save for Katakol, goalless on Talksport.
Yeah, easy save from Katakol, as you say, Joe, but Lauren Hemp again in the right place, doesn't quite get hold of it, but good positioning from her. I think Lauren Hemp's been our best player during this tournament for sure, and her playing higher up alongside Alessia Russo has been a major plus throughout this tournament.
England have it back on the halfway line. England, who have stuck with this familiar back three for most of the tournament now. Arjan Verink, the assistant to Serena Wiedmann, first suggested it after a struggle in the opening two group games, narrow 1-0 victories over Haiti and Denmark, and hasn't that 3-5-2 setup proved fruitful for England ever since? England have only lost once under the management of Serena Wiedmann, and that was in a friendly against Australia back in April. Spain have a free kick in their red shirts, dark blue shorts and dark blue socks, playing from left to right. Plenty of England fans in the stadium. We can see crosses of St George, left, right and centre. And the ball is with the Spain left back Carmona, who feeds it forward towards the halfway line, and Bonmatí, and now Abellera, who sits deepest lying of the three midfield players, midway inside her own half. Bonmatí driving forward menacingly into England territory. Wide to the right hand side is Redondo. Redondo flicks it a high cross to the far post. It's beyond everybody. Kept in play on the far side, the Spain left by Caldente, and now the number 10 Jenny Hermoso to deliver, only half cleared by Jess Carter. Bonmatí dead ball line, scoops it across all the way to the far post. Redondo is there, but her first touch was a heavy one. It's gone out of play, and England have a goal kick. Spain 0, England 0, 6 minutes gone, and here's former Lioness Leanne Sanderson.
You can see just how good Spain are when they break with Bonmatí. It was a great way to pass to Redondo. I don't really know why she hit it on the run. Redondo had a little bit more time maybe to set herself to put the ball into the box, but fantastic play again from Bonmatí, getting in those positions. And once she gets going and once she gets running at you, her weight of pass is so good.
There will be a new name on the World Cup today. Neither Spain nor England have ever won the Women's World Cup, and for Spain it's their first ever major tournament final. Here is Ona Batcher, formerly of Manchester United, for them on the halfway line, the right back, but a ball up the inside right channel is cut out by England's Alex Greenwood, who's been so outstanding at the left side of centre defence. One of England's most underrated and underappreciated players, but it really does say something that she's been a firm fixture in this England side throughout the tournament, Leanne.
Yeah, I think Alex Greenwood again has been so brilliant, and in the Euros last summer wasn't starting, got hardly any minutes. I thought she was quite unfortunate because Rachel Daly started in at left back, and in tournament football Alex Greenwood always seems to be that player that would miss out, even when she was my teammate. So I'm delighted to see that she's finally getting the recognition she deserves. Her left foot is like, she has that ball on a wand. She has a rope. It's literally, the ball down the channel is fantastic, but her positioning, I think she's grown into that position, and I think it really helps that back three. It helps players like Alex Greenwood to be able to shine more, and she's so comfortable on the ball.
Tori Penso is the American referee. Spain are on the attack with Redondo, crossfield early from the right. That's a poor ball, intercepted by England's Lucy Rons, and then a clearance hammered high downfield into the dark night sky by the England goalkeeper Mary Earps. It's coming up to 8:10 local time in Sydney, well into the evening, relatively chilly. Lots of England fans with the red and white bobble hats and scarves in the crowd. Spain have possession midway inside the England half, and a confident start on the ball from Spain. Hermoso playing it through the middle, almost a perfect pass for Redondo. Excellently well cut out by Alex Greenwood of England. Back it goes to Lucy Bronze in the right back position. It's still Spain 0, England 0. Neither goalkeeper has been tested inside the opening 8 minutes of play. Earps has possession for England, and Earps will clip the ball out towards the right back position. Lovely pass to set up Bronze, who can drive forward towards halfway. Long raking pass up the middle, overhit, a covering header by Paredes to her centre defensive colleague Laia Cadena, and now the ball is at the feet of the Spain goalkeeper Cata Cole.
Yeah, I think Jenny Hermoso looks more comfortable underneath Paralluelo. I think similar to what we saw of Australia when Sam Kerr plays, when Alexia Putellas on the field of play, the other players seem to, she's in almost, they're in her shadow. Whereas I feel like now these players seem to step up more when she's not playing on the field of play.
Little nervousness about the performance of England so far. Spain have certainly had more of the possession. That's not necessarily a great surprise, but here they come with Batcher. Well tackled by a retreating Rachel Daly for England. Rachel Daly, England's number 9, top scorer in the WSL last season, but played at left wing back throughout this tournament. That is really testament to her versatility, as Spain win a throw level with the edge of the England penalty area.
Yeah, amazing. So much admiration for Rachel Daly. She played 3 different positions during this tournament and seamlessly just seems to slot in there.
Spain have it now with Batcher in those red shirts. Paralluelo looking to tap it back towards the feet of Bonmarti, but quickly surrounded by players in England blue. One of them is Hemp, and Hemp evades Bonmarti and now drives towards the halfway line. Intelligent ball up the far side channel towards Alessia Russo. Laia Cadena is there on the cover to send it back to the goalkeeper once again. A relatively uneventful first 9.5 minutes of the World Cup final so far. Both sides just feeling their way into the game, but as I say, Spain are having more of the ball, and I think slightly more in terms of territory as well. There's not necessarily anything though to worry Serena Wiegmann as yet, as Millie Bright is tripped, fouled by Paralluelo, and that's a free kick to England midway inside their own half. Goalless, live on Talksport.
Yeah, definite trip, definite foul. You can see Millie Bright went down there. Paralluelo didn't think it was much in it. She kind of looks like she also got the ball to a certain degree, but I think what we're seeing so far in the opening 10 minutes is that similarly to the semi-finals, it was kind of uneventful in the first half. Nobody, it's almost like you compared it to a game of chess, Joe, when we did it during the comms. In the semi-finals of Spain versus Sweden, the games didn't seem to really come alive till the second half when people started to take more risks, and that's why we're seeing a lot of late goals within these games.
We've had some nervy moments in this commentary box, Leanne, you and I, over the last 3 weeks or so, but England have made it to the World Cup final, and potentially less than 90 minutes now away from the greatest honour the sport can bestow. Hemp has the ball on the corner of the penalty area, tackled by Teresa Aballera of Spain, wearing number 3. Caldente dropping deep into a left central midfield position and winning a throw off Hemp. Hemp has arguably been England's player of the tournament so far, scorer of many an important goal. 3 goals at the World Cup for her, 3-2 for Alessia Russo, and that's a foul by Lucy Bronze on Carmona, and Spain have a free kick in their left back position, 0-0.
Yeah, definite foul. Carmona's really good at getting forward.
England on the attack now straight away. Russo bursting into the box. Russo still going. Tackle at the last by Laia Cadena. Russo lost her footing. Cadena sweeps the ball away, but can't keep it in play, and England have the game's first corner.
Nice free kick, nice set piece. England got that one going very, very well. Great footwork from Alessia Russo. Couldn't quite fall to her, and she couldn't get the shot, couldn't quite get the ball out of her feet. But great ball from Lauren Hemp. I'm loving their partnership, Alessia Russo and Lauren Hemp.
Spain lost possession rather nervously there. England corner away to our left, towards the far side as we look at it. Millie Bryce is forward. Lots of sky blue shirts inside the 6-yard box. Spain 0, England 0 in the Women's World Cup final. Live on Talksport. Corner whipped in high by Greenwood. Here comes the goalkeeper. Takes it well. High above her head, Cata Cole, and the danger is gone.
Yeah, fantastic take from Cata Cole. A goalkeeper that's not got that much experience, within this Spanish team, but I think she's been excellent during this tournament. That's exactly what you need from your goalkeeper. Not a bad ball into the box, but nice and commanding.
Spain have it now with Caldente dropping deep again into that left back position. Carmona, who scored a spectacular winner in the semi-final against Sweden. Wonderful semi-final, Spain against Sweden, where we had 3 goals late in the game, and Spain scored more than Sweden managed to. And now Jenny Hermoso threading the ball to the left, and Paralluelo, she's the danger player, caught in the penalty area. Problems for England here. That's a poor ball though by Paralluelo, and Georgia Stanway makes the interception and knocks it out of play for a throw to Spain. 0-0.
Poor ball for Paralluelo, but I want to focus on how this Spanish team got this ball up the field. It was absolutely fantastic play from Carmona and Jenny Hermoso. They moved in triangles through up the field of play and created that situation. And a little 1-2 between Jenny Hermoso and Paralluelo. She has to do better in that situation.
It was a cross that was cut out by Stanway with relative ease in the end, but there's still danger for England here. The Spain coach Jorge Vilda on the edge of his technical area. Serena Wiegmann sitting in the dugout with that pink and blue jacket on. And England have managed to get the ball clear towards the midway point of their own half, but very quickly Spain win it back. Walsh has tackled Hermoso. These two met at the Euros, if you remember, last summer. England 2-1 victors after extra time. Here's Paralluelo for Spain, edge of the D, lays it to the right-hand side, and Batcher corner the penalty area, taking on Daly. Low ball into the near post, and Greenwood, a little hesitant. It was a poor piece of control. Poor first touch from Alex Greenwood. She managed to scramble the ball out of play, and Spain will have it right down by the corner flag. I don't think it's a corner. I think it's a throw to Spain right down by the corner flag here.
Yeah, nice little nutmeg from Paralluelo and Georgia Stanway. Fantastic play from her. I think Rachel Daly did her best to get out tight to Unabacha, but couldn't delay the cross into the box. A little bit nervy from England. I think Spain, we said, would have better possession, but I think they've looked more comfortable in the opening 15 minutes.
England haven't got quite got started yet, and that'll be a free kick to Spain. 10 yards into England territory. Russo tracking back and catching Carmona. 450 live matches this season across the Talksport network, more live football than anywhere else on national radio. We are the home of Monday Night Football, which returns with Crystal Palace against Arsenal, and then on Friday night Chelsea against Luton in the Premier League. Spain have won it back high up the field, and a shot driven wide by Abellera after Kira Walsh was dispossessed, but I think the referee Tori Penso of the United States had already blown for a free kick to England.
Yeah, that was a difficult one because Mariano Caldante actually, I thought, did quite well to recover the ball. I think Kira Walsh just has to take a touch. She's one of the best players in the world, Kira Walsh, but take a touch out of her feet, take it closer, and then almost, get the play going, because she was quite fortunate.
Here come England down the right with Lucy Bronze. She's going to keep the ball in play 5 yards from the corner flag. 0-0 the score. Plays it back to Georgia Stanway. Drives into the area. Low ball in, cleared away by Paredes. Comes out to Walsh on the edge of the box. Here is Bronze again. Right-footed delivery. Rachel Daly brings it down. Lauren Hemp shoots off the bar. England so close, and cleared away by Onabacha. Best chance of the World Cup final so far. Quarter of an hour gone. Spain 0, England 0. Lauren Hemp rattles the woodwork. So close to a wonderful World Cup final goal.
Brilliant play from England. You can see in the blink of an eye they can attack, and it was fantastic play from Georgia Stanway. Found the ball to Lauren Hemp, and it ends up hitting the crossbar. Brilliant play from England. Nice build-up play down the right-hand side from Lucy Bronze.
Lauren Hemp, who scored in the quarter-final, scored in the semi-final. So close to a goal in the final for England. Now Paralluelo at the other end for Spain. The ball is swept clear into touch by England's Jess Carter to the right of the three centre-halves. And Spain have a throw deep inside opposition territory. Just seen a replay of that left-footed instinctive curling shot from Hemp on the monitor in our commentary position, and it was so close, so nearly inch perfectly. Anne Sanderson.
Brilliant strike, and it was a fantastic setback from Rachel Daly. Something so simple, but the weight apart from Rachel Daly allowed Lauren Hemp to be able to hit it first time. Great strike.
Spain 0, England 0. It remains on this biggest of stages. Everyone's been talking about 1966, said Serena Wiegmann in the build-up. Can England now deliver? Heard lots of wonderful quotes in the build-up to this final. Alessia Russo talking about playing or pretending to play in the World Cup final with her brothers in the garden when she was a child. Really is the sort of occasion where dreams can come true. Spain on the attack with Abellera, middle of the England half. That's a lovely threaded ball, great weight on the pass. It's Carmona, first time cross, Paralluelo, and Redondo sees it saved. What a stop by Mary Earps, and what a miss really from Redondo. She should have scored, but Earps, right place, right time to make a giant save for England.
Great save, but I think Redondo should put that in the back of the net.
Carmona again down the England left. Both sides have had good chances now in what is starting to shape up and turn into an intriguing World Cup final. Carmona crosses, steered away by Carter at the near post. First real sight of goal for Spain, and Redondo should have scored, and maybe Paralluelo should have done as well. She got a glancing blow on the initial touch from Carmona's cross. Redondo far post, really hit it straight at Earps, but Earps was in the right place to save it. Here is Bonmarti. Corner of the penalty area for Spain. Batcher on the overlap. Batcher crosses right-footed, blocked off by Kira Walsh. Nobody defending from England. Spain are still on the attack. England plenty of blue shirts deep inside the penalty area, but Bonmarti has whipped in a great delivery. Headed away by Bronze from just inside the penalty area. Vic further clear, impressively so, by Alessia Russo. Hermoso as Spain come again. Millie Bright gets in front of Paoluelo. Now Ella Toon trying to set Hemp away on the counter, but nobody's in the Spain half in an England shirt, and England have to slow the play down. Spain 0, England 0. Chances at both ends now, Leanne.
Yeah, I think Paoluelo had that first chance. She should have put that in the back of the net. Redondo should have also put it in the back of the net. Fair play to Mary Earps. That's her job to keep it out, but I think it's a bad miss.
Brilliant floated ball crossfield by Daly. Russo is chasing. Russo's first touch was a poor one. Laia Cadena is there to shepherd it back to the goalkeeper. Live across national radio on Talksport. Spain have had 60% of the ball so far, and where Hemp's chance was a difficult one, the Hemp effort off the bar for England, Redondo should have been putting away her 15th international goal for Spain.
Definitely, and they're creating that overload on the back post as well. I think this is a time where England need to get the ball down, settle it down a little bit, because Spain is certainly coming at us, and they're looking like it's only a matter of time before one goes in the back of the net. They're possessing the ball, yes, it's great having that possession if they can't put it in the back of the net, but watching back this replay, we definitely got away with one here. The Paoluelo one, she should put that in the back of the net. The second one for Redondo, I think is a fantastic save from Mary Earps. Absolutely brilliant.
That's the voice of Leanne Sanderson, formerly of Arsenal and Chelsea in the WSL, and a bronze medalist with England in 2015 at the World Cup. Here come England, they won it back deep inside the Spain half. Bronze forward to Hemp, edge of the D is Toon, back to Lauren Hemp who curls it, gathered by the goalkeeper. Lovely football, intricate play from England on the edge of the 18-yard box, but for once Hemp's effort really lacked both power and precision. Easy save.
Yeah, she's going to want to have that one back for sure. It was a fantastic little intricate play from Ella Toon. I'm loving that, created the chance. Hemp could have also taken a touch forward. Wasn't much pace on the shot in the end, but great play from England, getting in those areas and almost playing Spain at their own game, possessing the ball in those final third areas and creating something out of nothing.
Here is Hermoso on the halfway line for Spain, squeezes in between both Stanway and Hemp. It's a vast playing surface here at Stadium Australia. There is a big gap between the stands and the field of play. Running track involved. Carmona bursting forward for Spain. A blistering run from just inside her own half into England territory, but England have won it back. Steered forward by Stanway to the feet of Russo. The ball doesn't quite stick to the England and now Arsenal striker who joined in the summer from Manchester United, and Spain retain possession. And Spain are playing a confident game so far. 0-0 it remains in the Women's World Cup final. Paoluelo out on the left, that's a good ball into the near post, well gathered by Mary Earps. One bounce and the goalkeeper solid in the 6-yard box. 0-0 it remains. Let's go to our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk live at Stadium Australia. Courtney, what have you made of the first 20 and a half minutes?
Yeah, I think Spain look the more composed, in control to me. The way they play out of tight areas is absolutely ridiculous, and always stick to that in terms of playing out from the back, and they're looking very, very good. But for England, I think it's just getting a bit of composure. And I want to ask Leanne as well as a forward what she thinks, whether Redondo there, I think she's trying to go across the keeper. I think she just needs to try and put that in the near post, and it's 1-0 to Spain.
England coming forward with Russo down by the dead ball line, pulling it back towards the edge of the penalty area, but Abelliera is there. And yes, what do you make of that, Leanne?
Yeah, I think Paoluelo has to put it in first and foremost. I think Redondo is trying to go back across goal, but doesn't quite catch hold of it. That one, you've got to put your foot through it, lace it, and it's easier said than done, put it in the top corner. But the opportunity was there for sure.
Leanne Sanderson with me on commentary. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, who has done a great job bringing us all of the interviews pre- and post-match throughout the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. And you'll hear from Sarina Wiegman, win or lose, following the World Cup final. The Lionesses supporters could barely stomach the idea, even the shred of the possibility of defeat on an occasion like this, a senior World Cup final. And Millie Bright has to be careful after a long ball up the middle from Spain, and it's gathered by the goalkeeper Mary Earps. Can you believe it? The first senior World Cup final contested by an England side for 57 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think obviously every English fan thinks whenever we get to a major tournament, especially in the men's where we're going to win it, doesn't always work like that. This has been long in the making. I think Serena Wiegmann was that icing on the cake that's been missing from this Lionesses team for a number of years, and you've got to give all credit to her, but the players have implemented the game plan. Whatever's been thrown at them, Kira Walsh goes down with that injury, Laura Coombs comes into that game after 38 minutes, then Katie Zellum starts the next one. I think it's been a real good team effort throughout this tournament.
Good morning if you've just joined us across the nation. It's into the evening in Sydney. Spain 0, England 0, midway into the first half of the 9th Women's World Cup final, and Lauren Hemp is barged over by Batcher, and that's a free kick to England about 10-15 yards into opposition territory.
Brilliant play from Lauren Hemp. Once she gets going, I've always said this, when she plays for England in previous games, in previous tournaments, I couldn't quite understand why they wouldn't get the ball to her as much. I think in that position she's playing now, which is a little bit more tucked in the two of Alessia Russo, she seems to pick up the ball in the areas where she can get going 1v1, because once she gets going, you can't stop her. They have to bring her down or they let her go.
Manchester City's Lauren Hemp. And England have sent Millie Bright forward for this free kick as Stanway stands over the ball. Very little angle for Georgia Stanway to work with here. I think she'll play it square to Alex Greenwood, who's just to the left of centre. Lots of boos from some in the crowd, and I think that's because a spectator has somehow got onto the field of play, and that spectator is quickly going to be moved off the field of play by the stewards. They're not quite in our view, but there was a momentary incursion, and that's why you heard the boos. But that intruder thankfully has been dealt with very, very quickly, and now we can focus on the football again. In the 24th minute of the World Cup final, Georgia Stanway, hands on hips over this free kick. You're listening to Talksport, and England are ready to go. Spain holding a relatively high defensive line, about 6 yards from the edge of their 18-yard box. Bright is forward, Greenwood is square of Stanway for the free kick. Referee Tori Penso is satisfied that we can go again. Lucy Bronze is going to make a deep run to the far post, as she loves to do. Floated forward, hard in the middle by Stanway, towards Bronze, only half cleared, eventually dealt with by Hermoso, swooping it up towards the centre circle, and Paralluelo, who threads the ball neatly to the left, and Carmona. Carmona, the Spain captain, holds up the play, and now we're at walking pace again. England win it back in the centre circle with Russo. Russo backwards to Greenwood. Greenwood square to the right-hand side, and Bronze, who darts away from Caldente very neatly. Bronze expertly turns into Spain territory. Up on that far side, the England right. England in all sky blue with white socks today. The change kit. Spain 0, England 0. It remains, and England are starting to find their composure and find their feet in the final here. Floated down the right by Carter towards Russo. Russo is offside. Spain have themselves a free kick.
I'm loving that little match-up between Mariana Caldente down that side with Lucy Bronze, obviously club teammates at Barcelona, and they know each other very well. And I think at this moment in time, Lucy Bronze is doing a really good job. Once she gets going, little drop of the shoulder, and you can see there what she was trying to do, look inside. I think Paralluelo also held the ball up really well there, had no right to really come out with the ball with 5 England players around her.
And here is Bon Marti in the middle of the Spain half, out to the right-back position to Nona Batcher. Lots of England flags, particularly behind the goal to our right. That's the end at which England will be attacking in the second half. Trying to look for your trademark Manchester United flags, Leanne. I think there are 1 or 2.
After last night, I don't think any.
Here comes Spain on the attack with Redondo. Right wing position, driving infield to a central place, trying to thread it into the middle towards the feet of Paralluelo, who had her back to goal. Redondo was simply crowded out there. Sheer number of England players helping out the Lionesses. Forward by Carmona, up the edge of the penalty area, cleared away first time left-footed by Alex Greenwood. Spain 0, England 0 it remains. England now with Stanway. Stanway looking to maraud over the halfway line. That's a poor pass. I think her and Russo got their wires crossed there. Stanway was expecting the run down the inside right channel. Russo stayed central and checked her run, so it's an easy concession of possession back to Spain straight away.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of knowing your players as well. We've seen a couple of times now Ella Toone also tried to play the ball down the channels to Alessia Russo. That's not really her game. She isn't only a back to goal player, she's a player that can receive the ball but with space. I think if that's Lauren Hemp player in the channel, no doubt.
If you like our coverage of the Women's World Cup, you'll love our coverage of the Men's Euros next summer on the Talksport network. 450 live commentaries this season. And here comes Spain with Batcher, racing down the right, sliding in is Rachel Daly. That'll go out to play. Which way? I think the assistant has signalled for a goal kick to England.
Absolutely brilliant play from Rachel Daly. Lovely recovery tackle, brilliant, and it's gone out for a goal kick. No doubt it was a goal kick, but fantastic from Una Batcher getting down that right-hand side Rachel Daly recovered amazingly well. And that's something that Spain are looking to do. Get Onabacha down that right-hand side with Bon Mati underneath and Redondo combining. That's definitely a game plan of theirs. You can see it.
Yeah, and this is Rachel Daly, a left wing-back who scored 22 goals in the WSL last season.
And she'll probably score 22 goals this year for Aston Villa in the WSL. But it's testimony to her. She said, well, it's one thing saying you'll play anywhere. It's one thing being able to implement that and play in that position. And she's done fantastically well. She really has.
Serena Beekman now standing on the edge of the England technical area with the dark jacket on. Her Spain counterpart, Jorge Vilda, about 20 yards to the left. Huge technical areas at Stadium Australia. This vast arena, the biggest stadium in use at the World Cup in 2023, and Daly commits a foul now on Redondo, just a shade inside the England half of the field. Lots of Spain fans in the crowd today as well. Pauluela looking to burst up the middle, but Stanway got a footing. Alexia Putellas left on the bench for Spain. Lauren James left on the bench for England. England, who are unchanged coming into the final. We've had 28 minutes and it's still 0-0. Lucy Bronze on the burst, but crowded out by a sea of red shirts. Crossfield ball by Abellera to the Spain left. It's plucked out of the air neatly by Caldente. Waits for the run of Carmona. Carmona will strike it! Into the bottom corner! Captain's goal in the World Cup final from Olga Carmona of Spain! And the Lionesses are behind on the biggest stage of all. It's Spain cheers at Stadium Australia, placed to perfection from Carmona into the bottom corner, away from the dive of Mary Earps, and England, who faced so much adversity across the tournament, will need to come from behind in the Women's World Cup final. 29 minutes gone, Spain 1, England 0.
Absolutely brilliant strike from Carmona. We've seen her do it during this tournament so far. Absolutely great switch ball. The one thing I will say, Lucy Bronze was completely out of position because she ran across the field with the ball. She was asking for options, and because she was out of position, it allowed, Aguilera to be able to find that spare player on the left-hand side. Carmona comes down that channel, and Lucy Bronze is completely out of position. You can see Alessia Russo was trying to cover back to get there, but Lucy Bronze overran the ball in the middle of the park. And it wasn't really her fault because there wasn't many options, but taking nothing away from Carmona, it was an absolutely fantastic strike. And you can see Mary Earps telling them, we need to get tighter, but Lucy Bronze was out of position due to overrunning the ball.
Like an arrow into the bottom corner from Olga Carmona, and that's 3 goals in her Spain career. The second of those, the winner in the semi-final, and the third of those, the opener in the World Cup final. And the Lionesses have it all to do. They can try and summon up the spirit of the Euros last summer, the spirit of their journey through this World Cup. Remember, they had to come from behind in the quarter-finals against Colombia. They faced real difficulty in the semi-final against Australia, who pulled themselves level at 1 point. So the Lionesses have it in them. They've got to go out and prove it again tonight in Sydney.
The Lionesses won't be panicking, and we saw against Colombia when they went ahead, and obviously Perez made that mistake, and Lauren Hemp was able to put it in the back of the net just before half-time. This Lionesses team will not panic. I think Spain deserve to be up, if I'm being totally honest, as much as I want England to win, and I want the Lionesses to win. Apart from Lauren Hemp having that opportunity, I think Spain have possessed the ball incredibly well. It's one thing possessing it, and one thing in certain areas, and they just popped the ball around. We saw it, Joe, didn't we, in the semi-final against Chelsea when Barcelona were playing, and a lot of these players are playing today. They're just a joy to watch, and when they get going, they're hard to stop.
It is in the classic blueprint of a Spain side that we've seen over the last 20 years or so. Spain keeping the ball effectively. They lead England by 1-0 in the Women's World Cup final on Talksport. We've had over half an hour of play. England have hit the bar through Lauren Hemp, but they haven't tested the goalkeeper, Kata Cole, that aside. And England looked a little on the ropes in the build-up to that goal, particularly on the England right side, where Spain have had a lot of joy. But here come England on their left with Hemp. Hemp is hugging the touchline. Sprightly, pacey forward player. Hemp is driving forward, taking on Batcher, reaching the dead ball line. Batcher slides in at the vital moment. England throw, level with the edge of the 6-yard box. Here's former Lioness Leanne Sanderson.
Well done, Batcher. We know how good she was this season for Manchester United women. Arguably the best player in the league, some might say. So fantastic play on Lauren Hemp, because not many players can stop Lauren Hemp once she gets going.
Rachel Daly will take the England throw, square towards Hemp, left-hand edge of the penalty area, tangling with Batcher. Across came Redondo. That last touch looked like it was off Lauren Hemp, and goal kick, says the referee, Tori Penso. Well, there'll be no panic from Serena Wiegmann, and we mentioned adversity at the World Cup. We saw it in the Euros as well last summer. England, who came up against a Spain side who took the lead in the quarter-finals, but England went on to win that match after extra time. It is a different kind of pressure, though, playing in the final of a major tournament.
It is, and they're playing against a completely different Spain side. You know, players like Mappy Leon, there's 12 of their players that are not there, and it's amazing how England have done so well, because we've hardly mentioned people like Beth Mead, Frank Kirby, Leah Williamson not being there. And this is testimony to this Lionesses team, a real squad and a real team effort. I'm not panicking, there's no need to panic. This is a really good Spain team, and they're so good once they get going at possessing the ball and being able to make opportunities and create them.
12 minutes of normal time remain in the first half. Spain 1, England 0. Olga Carmona, the captain, with a wonderful strike for the goal. Beautifully arrowed into the bottom corner, and Spain come forward again with Hermoso. Hermoso threading the pass inside left channel towards the penalty area, but Paraluelo couldn't reach it, and it's all the way through to the England goalkeeper, Mary Earps, who had no chance with that goal. All of the reaction to the World Cup final from 1:30 on Talksport, the Sunday session with Sam Matterface and Perry Groves. That's followed by the final word with Majestic and Alan Pardew live on Talksport. Monday Night Football returns tomorrow, exclusively on Talksport. Crystal Palace against Arsenal. Friday night in the Premier League, Chelsea against Luton. Saturday, a double bill for you: Bournemouth against Tottenham, Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, and next Sunday in the Championship, Watford against Blackburn on your home of the EFL, that is Talksport 2. Here is Rachel Daly for England, a goal down in the final. Serena Wiegmann stands into the technical area, arms behind her back. England have not quite got their rhythm going in the final third as yet. Lovely diagonal ball though from Millie Bright, whose distribution is always excellent. Poor pass chested infield though by Bronze, gives it straight back to Spain, and Bronze, well, I don't think you can say she was directly at fault for the Spain goal, but it was her surging run that led her to be out of position that may have played a part in it there.
Yeah, and you can't really do that. It's that one mistake that you made, and I wouldn't even say it necessarily was a mistake to a certain degree. She overran it into the middle of the park, but these types of players and teams like Spain, they're so good on the ball that as soon as they see that happening, they're able to navigate the ball to that position. Now, Lucy Bronze was out of position because she overran it, but Spain was so good at being able to turn back to front in the blink of an eye.
This is maybe the most composed I've seen of Spain in this tournament so far. They have scored a hatful of goals. They did have a shocking 4-0 thumping in the group stages at the hands of Japan, but Spain had already won 2 from 2 by that stage, and Spain are keeping the ball with elegant ease at the moment, and Hermoso has threaded it towards the right and Batcher, and England have got to keep their calm and composure. Steered forward by Bright onto the chest of Russo, dispossessed by Bon Marti. Spain have really arrived at the World Cup. They lead England in the final by 1-0. We're into the 36th minute. Here is Carmona, out on the far side touchline. Spain fans dotted around the crowd. Lots of Spanish flags are unfurled in the build-up to this match. Here is Bon Marti, and all this, of course, for Spain, with the backdrop of the ongoing dispute between Jorge Vilda, the FA, and no fewer than 12 Spanish international stars who continue to stand defiant in their belief that they don't want to compete for the national team in the state that it currently is. That's a foul by Georgia Stanway on Bon Marti. Spain have a free kick. Spain the better team in the first 36 minutes, leading by 1-0 on Talksport.
Yeah, and I said I'm not panicking, but what I am seeing since they've gone 1-0 up, it's almost like they're just taking their foot off the gas. Bon Mati, Jenny Hermoso are able to possess the ball. They're playing it around in triangles. They're not in any type of urgency. So England need to try and win the ball back higher up the field of play, because once this Spanish team get going, they're hard to stop. But you have to press. You have to do something to try and recover the ball.
This free kick to Spain is about 10 yards in field, midway into the England half, and there might be some danger for England here. Paredes, the centre-half, is forward. Teresa Abaliera standing over it, floats it high, diagonally towards Paredes, who heads it back, gets it back, and then shoots left-footed and wide. The initial header towards the back post from Paredes, only half cleared by Millie Bright, a nervy-looking clearance from the England skipper, and Paredes on her weaker left side could only lash the rebound wide. It could have been worse than that for England.
It could have been, and I was so complimentary of our back three during this tournament, but Alex Greenwood and Rachel Daly were nowhere to be seen there. Paredes had a free header, then a free shot on goal, and she should really hit the target, Paredes, from that situation.
And Earps has just shanked the ball out of play from the clearance, and there is a nervousness that has gripped England here, quite in contrast to the elegant composure of the Spain team. Rachel Daly hooks the ball out of play for another Spain throw on this near side the right, down by the corner flag. And you wonder, even at this stage in the first half, in the 38th minute, whether Serena Wiegmann will just want to say, get in at half-time, only a goal down. That's an early ball towards the near post by Hermoso, gathered with ease by Mary Earps, with thousands of England fans behind the goal behind her.
We know that Spain were always going to have more possession than England, but I think when they do have the ball, Alessia Russo has to do a better job at holding it up. It's easier said than done, but again, they're giving away the ball. She's getting hunted down by about 2 or 3 players, but has to hold it to be able to bring the players like Ella Toone, Georgia Stanway into this game, because they haven't been able to get a foothold at all in this game yet.
Lauren James, among the England substitutes, remember, having served her 2-match ban for the sending off at the round of 16 stage. Everybody else, from an England perspective, is also fit and ready to go, including the likes of Chloe Kelly. Cleared forward by Carter for England, thumping it high into those dark Sydney skies. The ball is out of play for a Spain throw. And Serena Wiegmann isn't the type of manager to make knee-jerk substitutions. We don't see many half-time changes from the England boss. I wonder whether she might be thinking of substitutions, Leanne, with England a goal down in the World Cup final.
She's obviously got in the back of her mind a plan A, B and C, because we know Serena Wiegmann's very good at that. But what I will say is that I can't see her making any substitutions at half-time. But you're right, Joe, there's the likes of Chloe Kelly that can come into this game, and Lauren James, and really change it.
Bonmati for Spain, wide to the right, the near side, and Redondo, corner of the 18-yard box, taking on Daly. Batcher forward on the overlap, Redondo curls it left-footed, trying to reverse ball, and it was blocked by Daly. England had nobody running with Batcher, who was making the overlapping run. Batcher has it on the near side now, taken on by Daly, beaten to it by Daly. Daly defending well for England, and then Hemp trying to carry the charge towards halfway. Across came Paredes, and Spain are doing a lot of the good dirty work off the ball, as well as showing their quality and composure in possession. 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, the back three's worked throughout this tournament when we changed, but I think during this game it hasn't worked. I think we could be seeing a tactical change that will happen, because I think Spain are getting a lot of joy down that right-hand side with Batcher and Redondo. They're overloading. If Una Batcher made a really good overlapping run there, Redondo should have played her in, and they were 2v1. So I think that's something that Serena Wiegmann will tactically change potentially at half-time, because they're getting overloaded down that right-hand side.
Serena Wiegmann beaten in the final of the last World Cup while manager of the Netherlands against the United States in 2019. And if England were to lose today, she would become the first coach to lose 2 senior World Cup finals, men's or women's. A long way still to go for the Lionesses, but they've conceded possession needlessly midway inside their own half. It's one back by Ella Toone. Toone very quiet in the game up to this point, but really none of England's players have performed to what you would say is their maximum ability. England at times look like they're running a little one-paced, that they are gripped by the nerves that clearly have afflicted them in the first half. We've got 5 minutes of normal time to go in the first period. Spain 1, England 0. Carter has to make a desperate lunging challenge, and I think the referee has actually said goal kick here to England.
One thing I will say though is that I think England haven't played that badly. I think Spain have just been too good. Genuinely, it reminds me of the semi-final Chelsea-Barcelona in the first leg. You know, you're going to be out-possessed, the quality is there, but I think Spain have just been exceptional in this game. And I said it before the game, Joe, we can win this game for sure, but it wasn't going to be easy. Look how good they are. The likes of Bonmati in those areas, you know, Redondo's been excellent, Batcher's been excellent, Hermoso looks really good and comfortable in that underneath in that 10 role, and Paraluelo hasn't even had to do that much, but just stretch the field of play.
Former England World Cup semi-finalist Leanne Sanderson on Talksport. Good turn by Hemp, over the halfway line, away from Larkadina, the defender slips, Russo to the right-hand side, Toone in the middle, Russo crosses, Toone couldn't get the touch! Cleared away by Bonmati. Oh, it only needed a tap-in from England's Ella Toone, who scored in the Euros final, inches away from a goal in the World Cup final, and indeed I think the flag was up, so I don't think it would have counted anyway. Indeed, Toone did go half a yard early. As an attacking passage of play, though, one of England's best moments in the first half. It's still Spain 1, England 0.
It was, and it was offside, so I won't focus on Ella Toone too much, but the ball for me was Rachel Daly. She was wide open on that left-hand side. She would have been onside, and Alessia Russo just needs to get her head up. Instead of playing that early ball, has to play the secondary ball to Rachel Daly, because she would have been in. But good play from England, you know, showing good signs, getting in those areas. Ella Toone should have put that in the back of the net, but it was offside anyway. But the option was Rachel Daly down the left-hand side.
Better from England, though. And England showing that Spain can be got at. As we have seen throughout the tournament, Spain are certainly not invulnerable. They have struggled for clean sheets. In fact, they haven't kept a clean sheet since the second game of the group stages, the 5-0 win over Zambia. Here is Daly for England down the left and marauding in field and floating the pass through the middle towards Russo, but that's too overhit. Russo couldn't get there in front of La Cadena, and it's into the gloves of the Spain goalkeeper Catacol. 43rd minute, Spain 1, England 0 on Talksport, online on DAB, 1089, 10:53 AM, or on your smart speaker, or via our app. Best way to be across both Talksport and Talksport 2, where we have live Super League commentary for you later. Leeds Rhinos against Warrington Wolves. If you get the app, you can swipe between both stations and all manner of live commentaries at your leisure. England finishing the first half a little better, Leanne.
Yeah, I think we saw in the tournament earlier on when Japan beat Spain, 4-0, they didn't have any of the possession at all, but they took their chances. So I'm okay with Spain potentially having a possession. What I'm not okay with is this overload down the right-hand side that Spain are creating every single time. We look in the back line, we look all over the place.
A dreadful ball by Alex Greenwood, a short pass to Millie Bright, and she was lucky that Bright was able to block off the onrushing Paoluelo. Otherwise, Spain might have been clear there. Even Alex Greenwood has played one or two rather clumsy passes in this first half. Spain lead by a goal to 0. 90 seconds of normal time remain in the first period at Stadium Australia in Sydney. England have travelled across the world for the World Cup. They've reached the final stage, but they are behind. Here is Caldente floating the ball into the box towards Paoluelo. Got the touch ahead of Bright initially, but couldn't bring it under control. It spun off the shin of Salma Paoluelo, the 19-year-old, Spain's youngest ever Women's World Cup goal scorer, and out of play it goes for a goal kick to England.
You can see Millie Bright telling everybody you need to get tighter. I know this Spanish team are very, very good at possessing the ball, but most players will be good if you give them the time and space that England are giving this Spanish team, so they have to get tighter. England seem to step it up a little bit just before the end of the first half. We've seen that.
And England are racing now through down the right-hand side with Hemp. Hemp is into the penalty area. Toon waits in the middle for the cross. Cross from Hemp. It's going to be cleared away by Batcher. Not convincingly. Come out to the edge of the box. Georgia Stanway edge of the D. Blocked off by Abelliera. Stanway had to go backwards rather than get the shot away. England have it once more on the halfway line. Floated forward by Millie Bright. Up the right-hand channel. Header cleared by the goal scorer and the Spain captain Carmona. Last 15 seconds of normal time in an engaging and absorbing first half. England have hit the woodwork through Lauren Hemp, but Spain have the lead. And Carmona now at walking pace has slowed the game down completely, and any sign of an England attack has gone. Just a minute of added time at the end of the first half, but times at this World Cup we've seen a heck of a lot more than that, Leanne.
Don't know how they've only got a minute at the end of the first half. I have no idea.
The ball is with Bonmarti and Caldente, who could turn into a little bit of trouble under pressure from Carter. Spain, though, look very deft in possession. That's a brilliant ball over the top by Batcher. Opportunity now for Bonmarti, with Paoluelo waiting in the middle for the cross. It's a ball by Bonmarti that is a really poor one, all the way behind Paoluelo, about 15 yards behind her in the end. It's recovered by Abelliera in the left wing position. Spain content just to keep the ball calmly now and play out the last 15 seconds of added time at the end of the first half. 1-0 to Spain. Here is Paredes, live for the centre circle. Inside right channel is Ona Batcher. Paoluelo calling for the cross in the middle. Batcher, corner of the penalty area, taking on Daly and moving forward all the time. Paoluelo, first time shot, just wide. Lovely ball in by Batcher, and Paoluelo turned on a sixpence, and somehow an inch or two wide of goal, it kissed the post on its way behind for a goal kick. England survive. They're a goal down at half-time of the Women's World Cup final, but it could have been so much worse there, right at the end. Paoluelo, who's made such an impact in this tournament, just kissed the outside edge of the post and behind and away for a goal kick. That after Olga Carmona, who scored the winner in the semi-final, had given Spain the lead in the World Cup final. Just shy of the half-hour mark, England have hit the bar through Lauren Hemp, but in large part, Serena Wiegman's team have been off the pace. And at this greatest of all stages, a first England Senior World Cup final since that wonderful day in 1966, it's the Lionesses who are behind at half-time in Sydney. Spain 1, England 0.
It is not going according to plan, Leanne Sanderson, and I've just watched Mary Earps walk off the pitch with a face like thunder, and too right as well, because Spain have been all over them in this first half.
Yeah, they have. England are not getting tight enough. I think obviously Spain have just been exceptional. We're first and second to every ball. You know, they're so good. I think Jenny Hermoso's having a fantastic game. Redondo, Bacha, they're getting so much joy, Faye, down the right-hand side, and England have to make a tactical change for me. I'm not saying personnel change right now, but Rachel Daly, we saw there, you know, Luna Bacha's got the better of her when she's going at her 1v1. There's no way she should be coming inside Bacha and being able to find Paraluelo in that situation, and they're not getting tight enough. I think Spain have been the better team, and I think they deserve to be 1-0 up, as much as it pains me to say it, but it still is only 1-0. We're quite lucky to be going in at half-time.
That is the good thing from this England point of view. They have experience of going behind against Spain, that's for sure. You know, we remember it from the Euros quarter-final. They went behind. It took till the 84th minute for Ella Toon to equalise and take it to extra time, which, of course, as we know, history shows England went on to then win. Adrian Durham and I have been watching it here at Box Park, and Adrian, you were furious with some of the defending that England were showing there, and we could easily be 3 down.
Easily be 3-0 down. Mary Earp's kicking hasn't been great either, so she's probably angry with herself walking off. But I think as soon as Lucy Bronze goes for a big walkabout in the middle of the park, loses the ball on the centre spot, everybody behind her has to regroup. What Spain did that was really clever was just immediately transfer the ball back to where Lucy Bronze had left this huge gap, and they exploited it. But the England players weren't switched on enough. The defenders, the back three, they're still there, they're in place. They just had to shift along a bit and just adapt to that situation. It just didn't work. And you saw Alessia Russo sprinting back. Fair play to her. She spotted there's a problem, tried to get back there, but just couldn't get there in time. I'm so stressed watching this first half. I mean, there's so much better. What they've got to realise, it is a massive opportunity. You have to take that opportunity. Don't just let it pass you by. And you mentioned that quarter-final in the Euros. West Germany took the lead in 66 as well.
I like that. I like stats like that. Keep giving me more of those. Give me more reason for optimism. Leanne Sanderson, Serena Wiegmann coming into this said she talked about the frustration, not letting the frustration get the better of the Lionesses, because they knew that Spain would have all the ball, but it doesn't feel like they've listened to that.
No, but also we're not really good in possession. I agree with what Adrian said. Mary Earps' kicking hasn't been great. They look all over the place in the back line, and we're getting completely overran. Now, we weren't in a back three the first 2 games, and we changed to a back three, and it was working. Maybe it would work against Colombia and Nigeria, but this Spanish team is so good, Faye. I think it's important for people to remember that. They have so many top quality players in their lineup, not just Bon Mati, but I think Jenny Hermoso has been exceptional down this in the middle of the park. Redondo, she should have scored as well. So we are quite fortunate. We are only 1-0 down, but we can still do this. We have to believe, and that's what Serena Wiegmann will be saying. We have quality in this team. I think Lauren Hemp again has probably been our best player. She created that opportunity. Nice little touch from Rachel Daly, but I think down the right hand side we're getting overloaded, so they definitely need to take care of that, because otherwise we'll be 2-0 down in the second half, in the first 10 minutes. Fantastic strike from Carmona as well.
Yeah, it really was. I believe. Adrian, do you believe?
I still believe, because they're better than what they've shown, but Spain, as Leanne said, are so good. They've got to play above themselves, England, to get back into it and win it.
In Serena we trust, Leanne. Fingers crossed. This is the Women's World Cup final, live on Talksport. England will have to come from behind to beat Spain and become world champions. The Lionesses trail by a goal to nil at a break, but as Leanne Sanderson says, no need to panic. Second half action coming next. This is the Women's World Cup final, live on Talksport. Faye Carruthers, Adrian Durham and Leanne Sanderson with you. England trails Spain by a goal to nil at half-time in Sydney. We're going to have updates from both Premier League matches later on this afternoon here on Talksport on the Sunday session with Sam Matterface, Perry Groves and Jenna Scalacci. Villa Everton is at 2, West Ham Chelsea at 4:30, and don't forget we have live and exclusive commentary tomorrow night from Selhurst Park as Crystal Palace face Arsenal. That's an 8 p.m. kickoff with Adrian Durham and the team. First today though, Championship football kicking off at 12. Talksport's Ian Abrahams is watching Norwich against Millwall at Carroll Road.
Thanks, Faye. Norwich haven't been beaten yet this season. Ono Hernandez broke his hand at QPR in midweek. Is replaced by Fashnek. So it's gun in goal. Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Janulis across the back. Sarah McLean and Rowe, Barnes and Fashnek with Sargent as the lone striker. Millwall haven't won since the opening day, losing the last 2. 3 changes for them today. So Sarkic in goal, Hutchinson, Cooper and Murray Wallace across the back. McNamara, Saville, Mitchell and Essay in midfield, with Fleming and Watmore either side of Nisbet up front. Glorious day in Norfolk for Norwich against Millwall.
Thank you very much, Ian. Second half action of the Women's World Cup final coming up shortly from Stadium Australia. Just a reminder, England trail Spain by 1-0 at half-time. Following us at the conclusion of this match, Sam Matterface will bring you Sunday session live here at Box Park at Wembley Stadium. Perry Groves, the former Arsenal winger, will be alongside him. Perry, I'm hoping we're all going to be celebrating. Otherwise, it's going to feel like a very different show.
It could be a very different show. It could be a very long show. Well, I'm hoping we do Sounds of the Weekend, don't we? And I'm just hoping it's all going to be celebratory music and champions music and winning music. Sarah Wigman's got to earn her money now at half-time, because, let's be honest, we could have been 2 or 3 down easily. The biggest joy of the half-time whistle was that we can get in and regroup, because I think Ella Toone maybe will come off and Lauren James will come on. You might have a change of shape, because I'm looking at the Spain's midfield of Bonmati, Abriela and Hermoso. They've totally dominated that game and that area, so that's a big change. And I looked at the Lionesses in the first 5-10 minutes, and they were nervy, very, very nervous. And what happens when you're nervous, it can affect your performance. You can lose half a yard to a yard in your legs. It goes right through your body, so there's got to be a complete sort of regroup at half-time. I've got confidence that they can turn it around, because we've had adversity in the World Cup before where we've gone 1-0 down or things haven't been going well. This group of players has resolve. This group of players had determination, and they can't play any worse than what they did in the first half.
No, they can't. Although Adrian is slightly more worried than me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I did say Spain are playing really well. Their individuals are fantastic and they're working together as a team, but we are making them look good. And I think what you've just said there about the nerves, it's meant that players aren't doing what they normally do. Lucy Bronze, who needs to be more Gary Neville and less Messi, and she was trying to do things that she really didn't need to do by carrying that ball into midfield and leaving a massive gap. They just need to get back to basics. That's what Serena will be doing at half time.
But we have talked about this being a problem for the Lionesses, changing this formation to the wing backs. They left space behind them against Colombia as well, and they cannot do this against this Spain side.
Well, I think the goal, obviously you're talking about from Carmona, what happened when Lucy Bronze actually comes into midfield, there's no movement. Ella Toone's the next person to her. She doesn't make an angle, because I think it's, again, you're overthinking it. You worry about if you get the ball, if you're going to have a bad touch, give the ball away, and then, as you said there, you don't play free. Your mind's not free. So there'll be a team talk at half time. Serena Vegan will change it, because it needs a spark, and if there's anybody that can give you a spark, it's Lauren James. So positives, we're only 1-0 down. And let's see the resolve of because we're going to come into that. We're going to have a 10-15 minute period where we come into their game and we dominate. It means you've got to be clinical and take your chances.
What else have you got coming up on the show, Perry? When I spoke to Sam yesterday, he said there'll definitely be some Men in Black chat after what's been going on in the Premier League this weekend.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 running orders. One is obviously dominated by Lionesses, and then we'll go to the Villa-Everton game, the West Ham-Chelsea game. We'll preview that, and obviously we'll have updates regularly from there. Then we've got our sounds, our smiles, the Men in Black, which will be quite a lot. Obviously.
Extensive.
Yes, I know, because Howard Webb has had a directive, and we all was in the briefing, wasn't we? And no one seems to be listening to Howard Webb's briefing, let alone the VAR officials and the referees. So there's a lot obviously to go through there.
There is.
But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's going to be dominated by a resurgence and one of the historical comebacks from the Lionesses.
I hope that the mood music is happy mood music, Perry. Thank you very much. That Sunday session coming up after the conclusion of the World Cup final, which at half-time, England trail Spain by 1-0. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, our England reporter, is at Stadium Australia. It feels a little bit here at Box Park, Courtney, as if the life has been sucked out of the party. What do England need to do to get themselves back into this game?
Well, I'll tell you what Serena Wiegman wants to do. She's bringing Chloe Kelly and Lauren James on there strict and ready to go now. They're outside in the kits. But for me, they've got to be better in possession. We know that Spain are going to possess the ball a lot, but when they get the ball back, England, they've given it back to Spain almost straight away. I know it's easy for me to say sat here, but they need to be a lot calmer in possession. And they've shown that when they do that, they can get in behind Spain and they can create problems.
Changes at half-time. We don't see Serena Wiegman do that very often, do we?
No, we don't, but I think she's aware that this game could easily get away from England quite quickly. I think we're probably lucky that we're not more than 1-0 down. And I think if she probably doesn't change something, it could have gone from bad to worse. So the fact that she's making these changes, I think, a positive and probably needed from what I've seen from the first half performance from England.
Yeah, absolutely. Players due back out any minute. Second half kick-off, a big 45 minutes for the Lionesses if they want to bring the World Cup trophy home. Your commentary team of Leanne Sanderson and Joe Shenham will take you through another nerve-shedding 45 minutes of action.
Well, if ever there was a statement substitution, double substitution in a World Cup final, then this is surely it. Lauren James back in an England shirt. Will this be the culmination of her redemption arc? Having been sent off in the round of 16 against Nigeria, she will take to the field for the start of the second half in the World Cup final, with England a goal down to Spain. We haven't had confirmation yet as to who she's replacing, and nor of the player that Chloe Kelly is going to come on for. Here comes James now wearing number 7, and it's Alessia Russo who is taken off at half-time. Alessia Russo, 3 goals at the World Cup, the clinching goal in the semi-final, but off goes Russo, and off too goes England's Rachel Daly. Chloe Kelly onto the field, and that must mean a change of shape for England, Leanne Sanderson. That is as bold a decision from Sarina Wiegman as you are likely to get.
That is a massive decision to take off Alessia Russo, definitely, especially at half-time. No player wants to get dragged at half-time. Something needed to change, but I felt like tactically we could see a formation change.
Lauren Hemp looking to race through the middle straight away. The second half is underway. Spain 1, England 0 in the Women's World Cup final, live on Talksport. The Lionesses looking to bring the World Cup home for the first time for an England senior side since 1966, but they trail, and that double change has seen England switch to a 4-2-3-1 formation where they had such great success at the European Championships last summer. So it's Mary Earps in goal, with Bronze, Carter, Bright and Greenwood at the back. Stanway and Walsh the midfield too, that's a familiar pairing. Kelly to the right, Toon in the hole, James to the left, and Lauren Hemp through the middle. So no Russo, no Daly, Kelly and James both onto the field. Spain unchanged, Cole the goalkeeper, Batcher, Paredes, Cadena and Carmona the goal scorer. Bonmarti, Abellera and Hermoso in midfield. Redondo, Paoluelo and Caldente up front. Can England rescue it? A goal down early in the second half in the Women's World Cup final. Paoluelo has the ball for Spain, midway inside her own territory. Now Bonmarti as Batcher making a run ahead of her. Lots of fans still making their way back to their seats early in the second half here. 75,000 crowd in at Stadium Australia. Just coming up to 5 minutes past 9 local time in Sydney, and an early touch for the Spain goalkeeper Kata Cole. England all in sky blue with dark blue trim and white socks, playing from left to right in the second half, towards the end where there are many crosses of St George, red and white behind the goal, and Spain playing from right to left. Red shirts, dark blue shorts, dark blue socks. Spain have the lead, England have it all to do, and Sarina Wiegman, who's sitting down in the technical area now with that puffer jacket on, has made the biggest tactical decision, you feel, of her England managerial career, Leanne Sanderson.
I would say so, and I think we can dissect those substitutions because it's yet to be determined if they'll work. I can't quite see how we've gone into a back four with Jess Carter, in a flat back four. I don't think that's going to work.
England have given it away, and here's Paoluelo on the edge of the D, looking menacing. Threads the ball to the right-hand side. It's not a good ball, kept in though by Batcher on the far side touchline. There was too much weight on that pass from Paoluelo. Some of the momentum has gone off the attack for Spain. Lauren James backtracking to win it back for England in the left-back spot. Who would have thought she had the opportunity to make up for that sending off against Nigeria late in normal time in the round of 16, a round of 16 time that England went on to win on penalty kicks. Now Lauren James is on as a sub in the final. Spain 1, England 0. 2 minutes gone in the second half. Cleared away by Jess Carter. Spain throw down by the corner flag. Spain have started the second half well. England continue, even despite the changes, to defend a little nervously here. And Bonmarti wriggling away from Stanway down by the dead ball line. Kept it in play to find Redondo. Redondo passes the ball backwards, away from goal. A poor ball intercepted by Lauren Hemp. Last touch off Paredes, who came across to make the block tackle. It's an England throw midway inside the Lionesses' half.
Yeah, I don't want to get too wrapped up in the substitutions, because I always say in Serena we trust, but I don't really know if you take your top goal scorer off at half time in a World Cup final in Alessia Russo. I don't think you do that. I think Lauren James had to come on. I think Chloe Kelly maybe later in the game. As we know, she always steps up when it really matters, but I don't know if this works in our favour to a certain degree, going in this flat back four with Jess Carter and Redondo and those types of players running at her.
And England have conceded possession again, and Caldente with her back to goal has played it back to Hermoso. Now Carmona, the goal scorer, underlap, driving into the penalty area. Well tracking back is Chloe Kelly, but Kelly's given it straight to Caldente. Caldente, dancing feet left on edge of the England box. A second goal for Spain would give England huge difficulty here. It would be a mountain to climb. 4 minutes into the second half of the Women's World Cup final in Sydney. Here is Caldente, down by the corner flag. England trail. Caldente, lovely threaded pass infield to Bonmarti. Bonmarti, Spain with these deft, elegant touches. Caldente on the edge of the penalty area. England can't get the ball back. Caldente, edge of the D, curling it! What a stop by Mary Earps! Plunging to her left-hand side. She went with her top hand in the end. Had to tip it away with her outstretched right arm. Huge save, potentially to keep England in the World Cup final. A Spain corner.
Yeah, we're all over the place, and it doesn't look like there's been any type of reaction. Lucy Bronze dives in there. Absolutely fantastic save, because it dipped last minute for the bounce to Mary Earps. When Caldente gets it on target, and it's a fantastic strike. Great save.
Corner to Spain, who lead 1-0. Live on Talksport. And Mary Earps is just issuing all sorts of instructions to the England players in front of her. Spain have got plenty of red shirts in the box. Corner into the near post, cleared away by the first player, Stanway. Thumping it high into those dark evening skies. And it's a throw to Spain this time. Level with the edge of the 6-yard box. In fact, an assistant signal it's gone out of play for a corner. The ball must have swerved just behind the corner flag. It was difficult to see from our angle. Bonmarti will take the corner. It'll be a right-footed outswinger. England have got everybody back virtually to defend this. Into the near post again. That's a dreadful delivery. Didn't even make the penalty area, that, from Abaliera's corner. And out of play for a goal kick to England. England have to rouse themselves from somewhere. They've never lost a competitive match under Serena Wiegmann. Their last competitive defeat was at the last World Cup in the third-place playoff when they lost to Sweden. But they are in big trouble here, and they can't get the ball. Spain have won it back efficiently again. There's been no second-half reaction up to this point from England. Cleared forward by Georgia Stanway. Little touch by Hemp. Square, but nobody in blue can get to it. Spain are winning all of the second balls, and Spain look by far the more likely to get the second goal of the final as it stands. And Paolo chasing an intelligent ball put up the left by Hermoso. Millie Bright gets across. That's a goal kick to England. Here's former Lioness Leanne Sanderson.
Well done, Millie Bright, getting across there, because Paolo, once she gets going, she's really hard to stop. So well done for Millie Bright. But it disappoints me, because I feel like I said in the semi-final, I think the occasion got to Australia. It looks right now the occasion's got to us. We've been absolutely woeful in this game, and I've been quite disappointed. I think Spain have been exceptional when they're possessing the ball, but I think we've allowed them to be. I think if Spain were to get another goal, usually feel like the Lionesses have that type of heart where they'll come back into it. If Spain were to score again, I can't see us coming back into this game. The next goal is so important.
Lovely turn by Lauren James to set up Carter down the far side, the England left, and Lauren Hempel tees it back towards James again. Corner of the penalty area, her ball is straight out of play. Of course, she's been training with the England side ever since being sent off in the round of 16, but nothing quite matches up to matchday experience. She missed the quarter-final, she missed the semi-final through suspension, and now she is part of the group tasked with rescuing this final. But England so far have saved their most nervy 52 minutes of the World Cup for its most important stage. Spain 1, England 0.
Yeah, we haven't played well at all, and the only silver lining is it's only 1-0. So we can still come back into this game. We have the quality to come back into this game. I just think they're first and second to every ball all over the field of play, and it's quite disappointing to see, because it's a World Cup final. We spoke a lot about how these opportunities don't come along very often. There's a reason why it's the first time since 1966, male or female, an English team has been in the final.
You can feel the lead weight of pressure in the legs of the Lionesses. They just don't seem to be moving as quickly or as fluently as Spain. And credit to Spain, who've been excellent so far in their first ever major tournament final, be it World Cup, European Championships or whatever else. Millie Bright in the centre circle, the England captain. Angles the ball to the feet of Chloe Kelly with her back to goal. Now the ball is on the halfway line with Lucy Bronze. Serena Wiegman standing on the edge of the England technical area as England seek an equaliser. Chloe Kelly, great ball into the penalty area. Lauren Hemp has hit it wide on the half volley, racing into the far post. Got her left boot to it, but couldn't steer it on target. Otherwise it might have been 1-1. Much better from the Lionesses.
What a ball from Chloe Kelly. Absolutely brilliant early delivery. I think Lauren Hemp should probably score in this situation. You wouldn't want anyone else. I was waiting for the net to ripple. Fantastic ball in. It wasn't an easy chance. Unabacha was putting her off, but that was a chance for England. Great play from Chloe Kelly down the right hand side.
1-0 to Spain it remains on Talksport. England having a slightly better spell in the game. Ella Toone, the number 10, has squeezed it into the path of Georgia Stanway, who couldn't, on the slide, feed Chloe Kelly. And Spain have it back with Carmona right in front of the England technical area. And Serena Wiegman, 75,000 in the stadium tonight. As Laia Cadena is caught by Lauren Hemp, and the referee is going to produce a yellow card for Hemp. I think that's for a late challenge, and it'll be interesting to see the replay again. At first glance, that looked a massive overreaction, and there was no contact between Hemp and Cadena, so the Spanish player has bought the foul and bought the booking off the referee there, really.
Yeah, for sure. Cadena, I mean, it's not a yellow card, it is a foul. Lauren Hemp just tries to go in, but there's nowhere near a yellow card at all. Cadena sold that one very well, barely touched her.
All the reaction to whatever happens at the Women's World Cup final, win or lose, at 1:30 on the Sunday session on Talksport with Sam Matterface and Perry Groves. Premier League goals as they go in as well. 6:30 the final word with Majestic and Alan Pardew. You can have your say on the weekend's football. 03717 223344. At 3 o'clock on Talksport 2, live Super League commentary, Leeds against Warrington. Best way to be across it all is to download our app, the Talksport app. You can swipe between our commentaries and both stations at your leisure. 450 live football commentaries this season on the Talksport network. We have more live football than anybody else, including the return of Monday Night Football tomorrow night, Crystal Palace against Arsenal. Build up underway from Talksport Breakfast at 6 with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend. Now, Spain lead England by a 0-0, and England still look listless in the World Cup final, still to get anywhere near top gear, still to get out of first gear. 1-0 down, and Spain are on the attack with Bon Martí. Tries to whip in an early cross under pressure from Alex Greenwood, and the referee says corner to Spain on the far side as we look at it. And as it stands, Spain by far the more likely to get the second goal.
Yeah, fantastic pace for Bon Martí. We're usually seeing her in the middle of the park orchestrating everything, but she caused a lot of problems making that run down the right against Alex Greenwood. But again, it's only 55 minutes into the game, so England could definitely come back into this, but we haven't really got going at all. I think the substitutions, Chloe Kelly has done okay since she's come into the game, but as the game goes on, it plays more into Spain's hand because they'll start to slow the game down and delay.
It's a corner to Spain that Abellera will take. Low along the ground to the near post. Hermoso brings it under control with her back to goal. Right down by the dead ball line. Impossible to get away from Stanway there. Stanway hacks the ball clear. High and long and deep into the Spain half. Nobody's there in a sky blue England shirt. And Spain will have the opportunity through the goalkeeper Kata Cole to build again. Spain 1, England 0. Our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk live at Stadium Australia. What have you made of the second half, Courtney?
Yeah, I still think it's very much Spain in control of this game. They're looking really good, still composed on the ball. I think England are looking slightly better in terms of Chloe Kelly getting Lauren James on the ball as well and looking more composed, but I think Spain are in absolute cruise control at the moment, I'm unfortunate to say.
They're on the attack though down the near side, the right with Chloe Kelly, the hero in the Euros final, the score of the winner against Germany. Can she come off the bench in the World Cup final and summon up that spirit for England? James with her back to goal. Corner of the 18-yard box, England are 1-0 down. No great movement from the England players in the final third. It's a ball infield to Keira Walsh. Keira Walsh to measure the cross. Jess Carter far post. Couldn't cut it back into the path of her teammates. Difficult one for the Chelsea defender there. Not necessarily a natural going forward. And England have seen the chance go begging, but they have won it back through Stanway on the halfway line. Spain 1, England 0 in the FIFA Women's World Cup Final 2023 on Talksport in association with Xero small business accounting software. Dream bigger. There was a glimmer of a chance there for England. We'll hear from Leanne Sanderson in just a moment as Paredes gets across in front of Ella Toone and sweeps the ball into touch. It's out of play. It's an England throw.
Brilliant ball from Keira Walsh. I think Jess Carter should do better in that situation. I think if Rachel Daly's in that left back position, she's able to be equally as good defensively as she is on the attack. I think that's something Jess Carter has to get better at. The ball was there from Keira Walsh. Fantastic.
Long way still to go in the final. Well over half an hour remaining. Lucy Bronze, early ball into Hemp, back to goal. Hemp's first touch is a heavy one. Carmona comes across, had to be careful with the challenge. Carmona does superbly. The Spain captain, great strength and composure to loft it clear towards the halfway line. England trying to bring it down now deep inside the Spain half with Bronze. Bronze has controlled the ball, but she's facing away from goal and sandwiched in between two red shirts, and Spain are showing the vigour and the vim of a side that are leading a World Cup final, and the quality on the ball to match as well. Trying to play the ball out of an almost impossible position. Spain have done that, and Caldente is fouled, gets the free kick from the American referee, Tori Penso, and all credit to Spain over the first 59 minutes, leading England 1-0.
Incredible composure from Spain. Carmona, Jenny Hermoso, Caldente, they never panic on the ball. You seem to England are trying to set traps, but Spain are just getting out of it. And I think the only silver lining is that we can maybe get them into a bit of a scrap, because I think once it gets to that point where it becomes a bit of a scrap and a bit of a duel, I think England will win those types of duels. But right now, Spain are by far the superior team.
Spain thinking about a change themselves. Chloe Kelly, right wing position, deep inside the Spain half. In fact, right by the corner flag now. Kelly lofts in a right-footed cross, and that's going to loop behind. And a goal kick to Spain, who I think, as I say, are going to make their change now. Very strange ball in from Chloe Kelly, and it actually clipped the sort of very back edge of the woodwork onto the roof of the net. No danger, though, for the Spain goalkeeper, Cata Cole. And here comes that Spain substitution. Off goes Alba Redondo, and on comes a more defensively minded player in Oyan Hernandez, who is back from suspension today. Hernandez of Real Madrid, and I wonder whether that might mean Caldente moving slightly further forward. We will see.
Yeah, that substitution makes sense. We've seen them take off Redondo during this tournament so far. I think Spain will just look to keep out-possessing England and have better quality like they have done. I don't think they're panicking at all, but it still is only 1-0. We haven't played anywhere near our levels, but we have the quality to be able to come back into this game. We just have to keep hold of the ball.
Remember, this is a Spain coach in Jorge Vilda, who had huge concerns over his management and training methods and preparation raised before the tournament. There are 12 Spain players who are still deciding that they don't want to play for Spain under this regime, but they lead England 1-0 in the World Cup final in Sydney. May it be in spite of the coach, that's a debate perhaps for another day. England have got work to do, half an hour to go, to potentially force extra time here. England would certainly take extra time, the way the game has gone for them at this point. Lucy Bronze scoops the ball high and long into the Spain half, headed away by La Cadena from the midway point of her own territory. England have it with Carter inside the centre circle, back to the halfway line, and Greenwood, and now Walsh dispossessed. Unlike Kira Walsh, concede possession so easily. Spain coming forward now with Hermoso. Hermoso held up by Walsh. She managed to track back, but Spain have still got it with Bonmati. Bonmati edge of the penalty area, left-footed shot just over the top of the crossbar. A rising drive from Bonmati, and had it been a foot or two lower, Spain would have been 2 goals to the good, and they would have had one hand on the World Cup.
Great strike from Bonmati, but it all starts with Paraluelo dispossessing Kira Walsh in that situation. No, Kira Walsh never gets dispossessed, but I think Paraluelo caught off guard because she defended from behind her from the front, and England got away with one there for sure. Bonmati, ball goes sailing over the bar, but they have to get tighter. They're allowing Bonmati, I know she's a top player, but any player that has that type of space is going to get a shot off. We have to get tighter to them.
How do you explain this England performance, Leanne? As James fires the ball high up the middle, but that's going to be too long for Georgia Stanway. And Stanway in a little tangle with Cadena, who goes down again. And I think Spain trying to make the most of every single coming together here, and the referee is, well, right on top of it, you might say. I don't think there was much in the challenge from Stanway and Cadena, and I think Spain will get a free kick. But is this Spain simply outplaying England, leading by a goal to in the World Cup final with 62 minutes gone, or is it England simply just not turning up so far on the night?
I think it's a combination of both, Joe. I think Perry Groves made a really good point at half-time, that when you're nervous, everything, your legs start to feel heavier, the occasion looks like it's getting to the best of us. I mean, we prepared last summer by winning the Euros, but this is a World Cup final, and certainly right now I think Spain have been first and second to every single ball, and I think there's still time for England to come back into this, but if Spain score again, you know, I think it's game over for sure. We haven't played anywhere near our levels, and once we get going, we know we can definitely find a way. We've got top quality players in this team that know how to dig deep, know how to find a way, and it doesn't always have to be pretty.
The Lionesses are 27 minutes from World Cup final defeat. Oyan Hernandez trying to take on Jess Carter in a 1v1, but Carter, the England left back now, is there to roll it back to Earps, all in green, away to our left-hand side. It's going to be driven forward by Millie Bright. Terrible ball by Bright. Straight to Hermoso. Nothing working out for England at the moment. And Hermoso just retains possession at walking pace, almost a nonchalance about Spain on the ball at times, and they still haven't even got Alexia Putellas onto the field yet. Bonmatí wriggles away from Stanway, threads it left Carmona. Carmona escapes bronze. There's danger here. Carmona's cross only half cleared. Opportunity for Caldente, still going inside the box. Now Paoluelo twisting, turning, shooting, and blocked by Millie Bright. And that was a desperate moment very nearly for England there. Hearts were in mouths of Lionesses, players, staff and fans alike, but Spain couldn't convert. Spain want handball inside the penalty area. Jorge Vilda is appealing here, and VAR may well check it as Caldente burst forward. Did it come off the finger almost, the fingertip of Keira Walsh as Caldente tried to dart through the middle? It did come off the hand of Keira Walsh, and VAR will surely be having a long look at this. Leanne Sanderson.
I think it's a penalty, as much as it pains me to say it. I think Caldente does a really good job.
VAR is checking for a possible penalty kick. Walsh with her arm ever so slightly outstretched as Caldente looked to burst beyond her.
I hope it's not given, but it's hard to see past the fact that she did handball it. It's unfortunate.
The ball just flicked off the fingertips of England's Keira Walsh. The referee Tori Penso was in a great position to see it, but the VAR check is ongoing, and this is a desperate moment for Keira Walsh and for the Lionesses. 20 minutes into the second half, the VAR will be in communication with the on-field referee, and England are probably desperately hoping here that she isn't going to be sent to check her pitch side monitor, because usually we know what that means. It's a prolonged VAR check live on Talksport. Spain 1, England 0 in the World Cup final, and the Lionesses here facing a possible penalty should VAR decide that it was handball by Walsh, who continues to protest to the referee. But all England can do is watch and wait on this biggest of stages here at Stadium Australia, as they wait to see whether Mary Earps will have to face a penalty kick. The referee has signalled that she's going to come and look at the pitch side monitor, and surely Spain are about to get a penalty kick.
As much as it pains me to say it, I think it is a penalty. You can see Mariana Caldente actually continues with the ball after. It's harsh, I get it, but it is a handball, and if the boot was on the other foot, I want a handball for England.
The referee is seeing an angle from behind the goal of Caldente bursting into the box, and Walsh has her hand slightly outstretched to her right, and the ball just comes off the fingertips of Keira Walsh. Caldente's arm goes up in appeal near enough straight away, and Tori Penso is watching this behind the goal angle of the incident again and again. She's in communication with the VAR, and as has been a feature at this Women's World Cup, we should be able to hear the on-field decision of the American referee live from the touchline. It'll be pumped through the speakers as well, so all the crowd are aware of what is going on midway into the second half of the Women's World Cup final. Spain 1, England 0. It could be about to get a whole lot worse for the Lionesses. And she's watching another angle, side on of the incident now, Tori Penso, still waiting to be satisfied that she has enough information to make this decision at such a crucial juncture in the match, a match where Spain have been the better side and England have been the back foot for most of it. And really, it's a big deep breath for Lionesses fans all around the world here, Leanne, as Tori Penso wants to see the first angle of the incident again.
The side angle looks like a clear-cut penalty. The central angle behind the goal doesn't make it look so obvious, so the side one for me looks like a pen. Behind the goal it doesn't. Be interested to see what she does.
Let's hear from Tori Penso, the referee, who's finished looking at the monitor now. She walks back onto the field of play.
After review, there is a punishable handball by number 4. Decision is penalty.
Well, there you have it. Heartbreak for Keira Walsh and heartbreak for the Lionesses. Spain have a penalty kick with 23 minutes to go in the Women's World Cup final. The chance to make the game 2-0, and maybe the chance to put the World Cup final beyond England. It is Jenny Hermoso, the all-time Spain leading goal scorer, who will place the ball on the spot. Lucy Bronze having words with the referee, maybe to try and play a few mind games, delay the taking of the kick. Spain understandably not happy with that. But after the deliberation, we have a decision, a VAR check, Kira Walsh's handball, and Spain now with the chance to extend their lead at the end, away to our left. I can see England flags and banners behind that goal. Jenny Hermoso has only missed 1 of 8 competitive penalties for Spain since 2015, and England say the ball isn't on the spot, and actually it doesn't look like it's on the spot either. The referee consulting with Hermoso. This is a long delay for a player, Leanne, briefly.
Here's Lucy Bronze, the kidology and the game management there to get in her head. She's doing a really good job of it.
Well, Mary Earps, the England goalkeeper, enjoys the psychology of penalties. England need their number one more than ever now. Just over 20 minutes left. England already a goal down. Hermoso with a big, deep breath. The Spain number 10. The bench, the Spain players are ready to run on and celebrate what they hope is going to be a second goal. England need Earps to bail them out here. It's Hermoso, left-footed. It's saved by Mary Earps. England's number one stands up on the big occasion. Heart of a lioness. England are still just about in this World Cup final. It's still Spain 1, England 0, but the lionesses continue to roar. They still have hope of a comeback.
Seems like Lucy Bronze did get in Jenny Hermoso's head because it's a really poor penalty. Fair play to Mary Earps. She guesses the right way and just collects it. That's how poor the penalty was. She was able to pick it up.
And now here come England at the other end. Goalkeepers come out and she just beat Chloe Kelly to the ball. It was a high boot by Kelly. I think that might be a free kick to Spain. Catacol had to race out to head it clear. But what a stop from England's Mary Earps. Plunging to her left-hand side. Yes, it was a poor penalty, but she gets right. She made the save, she held on to the ball, and England still just about have a foothold with 20 minutes to go on Talksport.
Absolutely brilliant. Mary Earps went early. It was like she knew exactly where Jenny Hermoso was going. And if Jenny Hermoso would have seen that Mary Earps went the other way, she could have slowly put it into the other corner. Easier said than done. Poor penalty, but Mary Earps goes really early. And these types of things can really turn the game on its head. Maybe England can get some little bit of momentum from that.
What can England find within themselves now? Spain's all-time leading goal scorer has missed a penalty, and now Lauren Hemp looking to be set away down the England right, but Laia Cadena is across. Haven't seen much of Lauren Hemp in the game. Oh, and the goalkeeper turns away from Hemp. My goodness, there were nerves of steel there from the goalkeeper Catacol, but suddenly Spain are scrambling just a little in possession. Laia Cadena has it in the left-back spot. She clears to the halfway line. Spain 1, England 0. Spain have missed a penalty kick. Less than 20 minutes of the final to go, in normal time at least. England hope there's a lot more still to be played. Offside flag up against Chloe Kelly. That was sloppy. Spain free kick.
Yeah, Chloe Kelly has to do better there. She can see along the line just to hold her run. You can see that's a game plan, you know, trying to get Chloe Kelly in behind, but she just has to hold her run.
Well, Cadena goes to ground for what, the third time in the second half so far? And the referee, Tori Penso, who I must admit has not entirely been the most impressive official over the course of the tournament, has stopped play again. And meanwhile, in the Championship, we have a goal to bring you at Carrow Road. With news of that, Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 1, Millwall 0 in 25 minutes. Good combination play between Ashley Barnes and Jonathan Rowe curled Norwich in front from 12 yards out. Norwich 1, Millwall 0.
We have more live football for you from the EFL next week on Friday night on Talksport 2, Hull against Bristol City, and next Sunday, Watford against Blackburn in the Championship, again on Talksport 2. Monday night football back on the network tomorrow. Crystal Palace against Arsenal. On Friday, commentary of Chelsea against Luton, and on Saturday, Bournemouth against Tottenham, and then Manchester United against Nottingham Forest. More than 110 exclusive Premier League commentaries this season on the network. Laia Cadena on her feet, but she can't continue. Let's go back to our England reporter, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Courtney, England just about still in the final.
Yeah, well, while it's only 1-0, you've always got a chance. And Mary stepping up again, been such a big game player for us in this tournament. It was a poor penalty, but it's still got to be saved, don't get me wrong. And she's given England a massive lifeline here, because for me, if it goes 2-0 to Spain, I think that's game over.
Off goes Cadena, on comes Ivana Andres of Real Madrid to make her 51st appearance at national team level. She's the Real Madrid club captain. Real Madrid not quite the force in the women's game that they are in men's football. Anyway, Spain 1, England 0 it remains, and Spain are closing in on what would be a truly magnificent triumph, and a triumph that many would have to say would be against the odds, given all the off-field issues they've had in the build-up to this tournament. But England, thanks to Mary Earps' penalty save, have still got a bit of hope. Chloe Kelly turns away from Carmona, races in field, pass deflects into the path of Toon. That helped out England there. Toon has taken up possession. There was a double deflection on that pass. In the end, Oyan Hernandez gets back, and Ella Toon has been quiet in the game. Lauren James gets a tackle in. Last touch off the Spaniard. Throw to England far side, their left wing position. They're 1-0 down.
Yeah, I think it should only be a matter of time before Beth England comes into this game. I really do. I think obviously there's 17 minutes to go plus additional time. England are going to need a goal. I think Ella Toon hasn't been her best game today. Completely understand why Serena Wiegman started her, I don't think.
Georgia Stanway breaking up the middle. Oh, she couldn't wriggle away from Abeliera. She nearly did, though. England have got a bit of momentum back in the game. Lucy Bronze goes for goal from 45 yards out. And it's high and wide and into the lower tier of seats behind the goal to our right.
Yeah, she instantly put her hand up. She knew it wasn't good enough. They do say you don't shoot, you don't score, but that was pretty poor. But going back to what I was saying about the midfield, I think Georgia Stanway and Ella Toon haven't been able to have any type of foothold in this game. I think it's testimony to how good Abeliera's been, and Bon Mati and Jenny Hermoso.
Here comes Spain on the attack through the middle with Hermoso, who missed the penalty kick. Ball up the inside left channel towards Paraluelo. Bronze is there on the cover. Back to Earps, who hammers it clear. How's everybody feeling at this point as Kelly regains possession for England? How are you feeling at this stage, Leanne Sanderson?
A little bit sick, Joe, if I'm being honest, but I think it will be only a matter of time as well before Spain potentially put on Alexia Putellas to see this game out as well. So England need to keep pushing. You know, it's difficult. When I played, you were in control of it. When you're on the other side of doing the broadcasting, you can't really control what's going on, and that's why I feel a little bit sick.
We've got 15 minutes left and England trail 1-0 in the final. Great ball out wide by James to Hemp. Hemp looks up, floats in the cross. Kenny far post, cut out by Carmona to get it away. The ball now is in the middle of the Spain half. England will come again. Can the Lionesses carve out one chance? Here's James, angle tight, in the box, she shoots! Tipped over by the goalkeeper. There was a real moment on there for Lauren James. Left-footed strike from the angle. Catacol over the top. England have a corner. England pushing now for an equaliser.
What a strike from Lauren James from the most acute of angles. And it's a fantastic save in the end. I thought Lauren James nonchalantly just steps up to it, as we know. But it's a great strike. Great save from Catacol.
Can England get themselves level? There'll be a huge roar. There are thousands of England fans behind the goal, waving their red and white scarves. Lauren Hemp is going to take the corner, 1-0 down. Less than a quarter now remaining in normal time on Talksport. Millie Bright is forward, Lucy Bronze is forward. Alex Greenwood to drift in the corner, in towards Kelly, far post, headed away. It's come back to Bronze. Right-hand edge of the 18-yard box. Bronze taking on the defender, whipping in the cross right-footed. It's flicked away, only as far as Greenwood at the back post. Dispossessed by Bon Marti. Spain can flood forward now on the counter. Bon Marti has got Paraluelo right through the middle if she wanted to play the pass. There was a covering defender, and now Oyan Hernandez knocks it wide right to Caldente. Spain slow the pace of the game down again a little here. And Bon Marti with a ball that goes straight into touch. England throw left back position. Have England left it too late, you have to wonder?
No, I think, it only takes one moment to score. In that situation, I couldn't understand why Bon Mati didn't just play in Paraluelo, but the camera hadn't actually picked up that Jess Carter was in that position. But it only takes one moment to score. England it's not been our best performance, but we have to keep going. We have to keep pushing out. We have to be disciplined, hold our runs, get Lauren James on the ball a little bit more. Because Spain have been so good at possessing the ball, our wingers are getting pinned back quite a lot.
The referee spotted a foul by Paraluelo. Backing into Alex Greenwood, who's been caught here. Greenwood clutching her face. 1-0 to Spain, who took the lead in the first half through Carmona. Yellow card for Paraluelo. And Spain then and Greenwood is bleeding here from a cut to just above the eye, it looks like. Now Paraluelo swung. And did she catch Greenwood? She must have caught Greenwood.
It looked like her knee in the end that hit Alex Greenwood in the face, because Alex Greenwood's head was down quite low, but that is not nice. Alex Greenwood, hopefully she'll be okay.
Confirmation of the yellow card for Paraluelo. England, who have laboured throughout this World Cup final. Spain had the chance to make the game safe. A handball by Kira Walsh, but Jenny Hermoso's penalty was saved. Serena Wiegman patrolling the touchline. Does she think about any more changes here, Leanne, I wonder?
Well, she might be forced into one if Alex Greenwood can't carry on. There's quite a lot of blood there, and obviously have to do the concussion protocols. It doesn't look good at all. So if her hand's forced into having to make a defensive change, it'll be interesting to see. But I think Bethany England should be coming on in only a matter of time before she should come into this game.
3 of the previous 8 Women's World Cup finals have gone to extra time. England are hoping that it'll be 4 of 9. And just to take you further down the line, 2 previous World Cup finals have required a penalty shootout. And the last such penalty shootout was in 2011 when Japan beat the United States. England have basically everybody warming up behind the goal, and there's going to be a lot of added time at the end of these 90 minutes because of the delay to the penalty, now the delay due to Greenwood's injury. England fans bouncing up and down, a goal down, and as you say, Leanne, they only need one chance here.
Yeah, they look like they're asking for a change of shorts for Alex Greenwood because she's got some blood on them. Looks like Rutan, the doctor's actually stitching her up on the field of play, so hopefully she'll still be okay to continue. That's exactly what she'd want to do. I know Alex Greenwood, you'd have to drag her off the field of play because she's got that type of hunger and that fight inside of her. But I think the longer the game goes on, it plays more into Spain's hands to a certain degree. Alexia Putellas could come into the game for sure. Hopefully Alex Greenwood's going to be okay.
Still being treated, lying on her back. It's for a cut, almost just in that area above the eye. And as you say, Leanne, it looked like maybe stitches or certainly something like that being applied for Alex Greenwood. And what a story this would be. Greenwood looking to carry on here. She's going to get a new kit entirely, I think, at this point, Alex Greenwood.
She is, and it looks like the girls are looking to kind of hover around her to be able to potentially do this.
Yeah. Well, this is, in many ways, the spirit and the togetherness of the Lionesses that we're seeing right here, right now. Their teammate being treated. Greenwood, we think, looks like she'll be able to carry on. And obviously, if they have to give her a new kit and they have to do it on the field, then I'm sure they'll form a protective circle around Alex Greenwood, so she's got the privacy to do that. It was a high knee from Paoluelo that saw Greenwood caught, and now she's sitting up and she's got a white bandage around her head. We've seen that from England defenders in years gone by, and Alex Greenwood is being bandaged up here. And Serena Wiegmann, I think they will do all they can, of course, within the proper regulations, as is right and proper, to keep Alex Greenwood in the World Cup final. Yeah,
we saw similarly yesterday Caitlin Ford and Asalani just before half-time. They had to go and get treatment. Asalani was covered in blood and Caitlin Ford had to get the wrap, similarly to what Alex Greenwood is getting.
Well, incredible drama in the World Cup final. They've still got the spare kits for Greenwood should they need it. Mexican waves going on around the crowd in the stands at the moment. There's no Mexican waves going on in the commentary box, Leanne Sanderson.
No, there's not. Billie Jean King just came up on the TV as well. I mean, fantastic. What a legend she is. It'll be interesting to see, because Alex Greenwood doesn't really look like she's walking the most, pleasantly.
Well, of course, the concussion protocols are in place for a reason. Greenwood is fully bandaged up. I think she'll probably go off the field to change if that needs to be done. But Greenwood looks like she's moving okay now, and is going to be okay to carry on. She's going to have to get a new kit. Alex Greenwood, a bandage across her head, a new kit. England temporarily down to 10. You really couldn't write a script like this for a World Cup final. Spain 1, England 0. There'll be a lot of stoppage time. We're in the 82nd minute on Talksport. Spain have also missed a penalty, and England still have hope. Temporarily down to 10 players at the moment.
Yeah, it almost looks like they were trying to delay it, but obviously time isn't on their hands. They need to score, and fair play to Alex Greenwood. It was a pretty bad gash. Paoluelo didn't really mean it at all, no malice in it, but it was her knee to the face, and she's come back on in a true warrior style we know she is.
Greenwood soldiers on, and England carry on as they seek an equaliser on Talksport. The ball is deep inside the Spain half. Cleared away by Spain. Now Bon Marti, who has been excellent but dispossessed, surrounded by sky blue shirts. Great ball by James. Reverse pass down the right. Lucy Bronze gets to it. Lucy Bronze whips in a good cross, headed away by Paredes. Out the edge of the box. Jess Carter thought about a shot. It's come back to Walsh. Walsh pings it cross-field. Bronze first time delivery gathered by Kata Cole on the edge of the 6-yard box, and the quality wasn't there from Bronze. when England leaded it. Spain 1-0 to the good.
Yeah, I actually thought it was actually not a bad idea, but none of the players, Ella Toone, Hemp or Lauren James, anticipated that ball. It was pretty early from Lucy Bronze to play that great ball out from Kira Walsh to switch it to the right-hand side. But I have a feeling these Lionesses team, they never give up. We've seen that in the Euros when Chloe Kelly, Ella Toone have scored late goals, and they can find a way. They only need one moment of genius, as we saw last year at the European Championship.
England 7 minutes plus stoppage time away from finishing as World Cup runners-up. Lauren James has won it back though, deep inside the Spain half. Was she fouled by Carmona on the edge of the box? Surely she was fouled. Referee says play on. Serena Wiegmann, arms outstretched, can't believe it. It was a tackle from behind by Carmona. James to ground, no free kick given, and now it's out of play for a Spain throw, just shy of halfway.
When I first saw it, it looked like it was a clear foul. Lauren James got the better. Clear foul for me all day long. I know Carmona's saying she got the ball, but I think that is a foul.
Carmona's sticking out a leg. She didn't get near the ball.
Nowhere near the ball. Foul all day long. I thought Lauren James did very well to draw that. Would have been in a great position. How that's not a free kick, I don't know.
Great turn by Bonmarty away from Walsh. Are England going to be punished as Bonmarty goes crossfield, right to left. Caldente gets to it, led with the edge of the penalty area. Spain looking for a second goal. Hermoso having to backtrack and stretch to keep possession. Couldn't do so. Kira Walsh on the ball for England. Up to Ella Toone. Batches down on her knees for Spain. Not a head injury, so England can play on. James trying to tear towards halfway. That's a foul by Abellera, and that's a free kick to England. We have a World Cup final between two of the world's best. Do we have the world's best referee? I guess that's a question maybe for another time.
Yeah, it really is. I think Lauren James does really well here. What we're going to look to see on Abacha there just tries to delay Lauren James. They'll start to do that, the tactics. Slow the game down. There will be a lot of additional time. At one point there was about 3 players down from Spain, and Georgia Stanway was down for England in one instance. But they don't have to stop the game because it's not a head injury. But they need to keep pushing. They need to keep fighting. We haven't really looked like scoring in this game. I will ask questions of why Alessia Russo was taken off at half-time, our top goal scorer, our main centre-forward, if this game stays the way it does. But hopefully it won't, and England can find a way.
Alexia Putellas is going to come on for Spain. Pretty much the only thing missing from her trophy cabinet is a World Cup win. And Hermoso's down, so maybe she's the most likely candidate to be replaced. As you say though, Leanne, Russo and Daly taken off at half-time by Serena Wiegmann. England have lacked a real goal-scoring threat through the middle in the second half. They haven't really had a focal point to aim at.
No, but I think that happens in these games when Ella Toone's not having any type of impact on the game, and neither is Georgia Stanway. How are they supposed to penetrate through the middle? It's almost impossible. And we saw in the first 2 games of the tournament, when we played Haiti and Denmark and even against Nigeria, there wasn't really much created for Alessia Russo.
Free kick to England on the halfway line. Long from Greenwood, high up the middle. Spain temporarily down to 10. The flick by Millie Bright. Chloe Kelly trying to reach the second ball. Hooked away by Ona Batcher. Spain closing in on an incredible victory for them, just as it would be for England too. The referee signals towards the near side touchline. Now Hermoso certainly temporarily went off. Is it going to be a permanent substitution in this game now? The referee's pointing towards the touchline. Well, we're going to have a lot of stoppage time. I would think 10 minutes possibly, Leanne, here, maybe more.
Yeah, I would say so. It looks like England have also pushed Millie Bright higher up the field. We've seen Serena Wiegmann do that at the Euros last summer, and Millie Bright looks like she's gone higher up the field to play.
Ella Toone is going off, so Ella Toone's World Cup is over now, and we're still waiting to see who the replacement is. Ella Toone has walked off the field of play, and England still waiting to make that substitution possibly. I think there's a great deal of confusion at Stadium Australia. It's Beth England who comes onto the field. The striker who plays a football at Tottenham Hotspur. Can she help England find a leveller to take this into extra time? Meanwhile, Hermoso is back on for Spain, and I don't think they've made their change just yet.
So we're throwing everything out. Beth England is on. I think still too late. I think she should have come on about 10 minutes ago. Millie Bright is high up there as well.
England doing all they can, but they trail Spain 1-0. 3 minutes of normal time to go. Stay with us on Talksport. There's a lot of stoppage time on the way. Millie Bright is lurking the penalty area for England. And Beth England is forward now too. Lauren James down the left. James escapes the defender. Pops it back to Greenwood. Greenwood tries a cross. It's cleared by Paraluelo, who then unsportingly knocked it straight out of play. Got to be careful on a yellow card, Paraluelo here. Referee elects to enact no further punishment. Lucy Bronze in the centre circle. England throwing everybody at it now. Lucy Bronze will just drive it high and long and true. Headed away by Onabacha. Spain 1, England 0. Now it's on the far side, the England left, and an attempted cross from the left by Kelly, who's switched wings, it would appear. And it's out of play for an England throw midway inside the Spain half.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like there's any type of formation now. It's just going at it. Millie Bright is higher up the field of play. We just need to make sure we don't concede. I still think there'll be about 10 minutes added on, like you said, Joe, well, there should be. So we'll have to wait and see. But just load the box. Anything can happen. Put it in there. Put it on Millie Bright. Said it might not be pretty, but we have to score.
England trail in the Women's World Cup final by a goal to nil. A long ball by Bronze. The flick by Millie Bright. It could drop for Lauren James. Millie Bright left-footed. Takes a big deflection. Catacol, the goalkeeper, prevents the corner. The Spain goalkeeper dives on the ball. Spain up to this point have been the better team on the night in Sydney, you have to say. Jorge Vilda, the head coach, is hopping up and down on the near side touchline, telling his players to keep their composure and their calm. Jorge Vilda and Spain closing in on a remarkable victory, even despite all the controversy surrounding them in the build-up. They still want to bring Putellas onto the field, but they haven't done it yet. And the flick by Oyan Hernandez to set up Paralluelo, one-on-one with Carter here, square to Caldente, danger for England. Caldente, here's Hermoso left-footed, what a block by Jess Carter, sliding in at the last, into the final minute of normal time. 1-0 to Spain, who have a corner.
Brilliant play from Jess Carter, fantastic play again from Spain. Paralluelo finds the ball, Jenny Hermoso, great block from Jess Carter, putting herself on the line.
Now the Spain fans are on their feet, ready to celebrate a second goal. Now what's Caldente doing here? She's going to leave the field, and what a moment for Alexia Putellas, who has had a terrible time with injury over the last year or so and not able to start the World Cup final. That was a selection thing, a selection call from Jorge Vilda, but here she comes, one of women's football's greatest of all time, and now can she come on and seal this World Cup victory for Spain? We're into the final 10 seconds of normal time. Aballera's delivery, high to the far post. It's bouncing up and down inside the England penalty area. Hook further clear by Kelly. How long are we going to have in terms of stoppage time? Spain 1, England 0. 13 added minutes. 13 minutes to go. England have got 13 to force extra time. Spain have got a long way to go to hold on to their lead. Bon Marti, corner of the penalty area. England have got to be careful that they don't over-force the issue. Into stoppage time now. This added time, a feature of the Men's World Cup in Qatar, a feature of the Women's World Cup in Sydney. Here, Australia and New Zealand, as James drops deep into her own territory, right by her own corner flag. England very nearly lose the ball. They do lose the ball. Onabacha down the Spain right, sets up Hermoso, corner of the penalty area. First minute of 13 added. Spain 1, England 0 it remains on Talksport. Carmona almost turning into trouble, but gets away from Hemp. And England have got to be very careful that they don't allow Spain to just keep possession here, as Spain are so adept at doing. It's a worrying pattern, this, because Spain suddenly look really composed on the ball again in second half stoppage time. Leanne Sanderson.
Well, imagine being able to bring the best player currently right now in the world, Alexia Putellas, on to see out this game. There's still 13 minutes to go. They were in the 90s, so Spain can't really go to the corners and start keeping the ball there, because you're playing with fire a little bit if you do that.
And they might be in again here, down the England right, opportunity for Batcher. The shot is saved by Maria to the near post, turning it behind with her legs. Ona Batcher, formerly of Manchester United, very nearly with a dagger to the heart of England in the World Cup final, and it took a deflection off Jess Carter too. It's an even better save from Maria. Spain 1, England 0. England hanging on in second half stoppage time in the second of 13 added.
Brilliant reflex save from Mary Earps. He took a deflection off of Jess Carter. She was going one way. Great save.
Well, of course, the ball is not where England want it, and Spain are taking their time with this corner, and England have seemingly brought everybody back here. They've left no one further forward. Aballera to take the corner. They've got 11 minutes, England, here to save their World Cup, and Spain are wasting time because Aballera waited an age to eventually allow Paralluelo to take the corner. The referee tells him to get on with it. Here's the in-swinging delivery. Paredes coming in, headed away by Bronze, flicked a little further clear by England. There was a foul on Bronze. Free kick to England. We have half-time at Carrow Road in the Championship. Talksport, Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 1, Millwall 0. Jonathan Rowe's excellent goal separates the two sides. Norwich have been the better team by far and could have had 3 or 4. Half-time, Norwich 1, Millwall 0.
More live football from the EFL for you next week on Talksport 2. Hull Bristol City on Friday, Watford Blackburn next Sunday. Spain 1, England 0. The World Cup final. The Lionesses battling here, but they're struggling to work away back into the match. And we're now 3 minutes into the 13 added, and Spain are on top. Oyan Hernandez down the right, pulls it across. Paralluelo is there. Lucy Bronze got the faintest of touches to divert it through the legs of Paralluelo. Otherwise, that would have seen off England well and truly. The Lionesses heading for their first competitive defeat under Sarina Wiegman, unless something changes in the 10 minutes remain. But England can't get hold of the ball at the moment, Leanne.
No, there's still time. There's still 10 minutes. You know, it was a fantastic ball from Hernandez. Paralluelo couldn't quite get there. Lucy Bronze does a really good job. But they're getting completely overrun because obviously now Millie Bright's gone up top, and we just haven't really been able to get our forwards on the ball at all. You know, Lauren Hemp in the second half, when Alessia Russo goes off, can't get the ball.
Here comes England's Lauren Hemp, tearing down the left-hand side. Millie Bright is playing as a centre forward now. It's Kira Walsh pumping it cross-field to the right, and Kelly's brought it down neatly. Plenty to Emmett in the middle. Kelly dribbles, curls one left-footed, cut out by Paredes in and around the penalty spot. Nearly 4 of the 13 added minutes have been played in Sydney, and Lucy Bronze with a careless pass. The Lioness is full of errors in the final so far, and Lucy Bronze, it's handball after deflection, and England just haven't been at their best ultimately today.
No, they haven't, and I think if this game stays the way it is, so clever from Alexia Putellas. I actually think she kicks it out Lucy Bronze's hand on purpose to be able to draw the free kick. But there's still time, there's still 9 minutes to go. Anything can happen. We have good enough quality within this team. We know this Lionesses never give up, but the way the game's gone, I think Spain have definitely been the far superior team. They possessed the ball. They've always looked like the team has been in control the whole of the game.
Jess Carter facing her own goal, having to turn away from Paralluelo. Spain 1, England 0. 4.5 minutes now of the 13 added have been played on Talksport. Referee belatedly gives Spain a free kick for a foul on Putellas. Has Tori Penso got full control of this match? Not sure it feels like that is the case, but there was a shove in the back there from Stanway on Putellas.
Just frustration with Georgia Stanway. I couldn't really see much in it, and then when you see the replay back, 2-hand shove in the back of Alexia Putellas, they're going to appeal for that. They want to calm that. It'll be interesting to see if they go to the corner, if they put the ball in the box. They need to gain management now, but they've still got, you know, a lot of time in this game, 7 minutes or so. So really, do you go to the corner flag at this point? I'm not quite sure.
Spain are playing out stoppage time magnificently here. 5 now through the 13 added, and a Spain free kick. It's been almost all been played in the England half. England may be a fading force finally. Abaliera floats in the free kick, high to the far post. Paredes with a looping header, cleared by Bronze, could drop for Spain. Bonmarti in the box, hacked away by Carter, not very far, nodded back into the penalty area by Hernandez. The clearing header by Kira Walsh of England this time. Carter, and now James looking to launch a counter-attack. It's with Lauren Hemp down the England right. Hemp all left foot, the run of James ahead of her. Hemp trying to work her way to cut herself inside into a central position, but she's surrounded by the red shirts of Spain, and her pass in field cut out by Caldente. England can really ill afford the intricacies that Hemp was trying to provide there. They've just got to get it into the box at this stage. 7 minutes of their World Cup potentially to go. England desperate to force extra time. They don't look like doing it at the moment, but here is James driving down the England right. Can she win a corner perhaps off Carmona? Carmona makes a tackle. Paralluelo comes away with it. Spain have been the better team, and now here is Hermoso in front almost of the England dugout, spinning away from 2 in sky blue, winning a throw. Sarina Wiegman's England record before the match read played 38, won 31, drew 6, lost 1. That was in a friendly. But for the first time since the last World Cup, it looks like England are going to suffer a competitive defeat on the biggest stage of all.
It looks that way, and it's unfortunate because it's not over yet. You know, there's still time, but the way that they've handled this game, I mean, Jenny Hermoso, apart from missing that penalty, hasn't put a foot wrong. They're so comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, back to goal. Paralluelo, usually that impact sub that's come in the last 2 games, has scored 2 goals, and now she's played from the beginning. I think they've all been exceptional.
Great turn by England though, down the right hand side. Beth England for the Lionesses. She can't get beyond Carmona. Carmona outstanding for Spain. England have less than 5.5 minutes now to find themselves an equaliser to send the World Cup final into extra time. Spain 1, England 0. It remains on Talksport. Time is ticking for the Lionesses. The ball is with Greenwood. Out to the left-hand side now, and Chloe Kelly. Chloe Kelly has scored the winner in the Euros final, but she's blocked off. Spain are finishing stronger. Though that said, Stanway's won it back in the centre circle. She's dispossessed by Abelliera. Spain getting past a tired England now. Walsh looks leggy. It's Bonmatí, edge of the area. She's got options right, left and centre. Bonmatí goes it alone. The shot is repelled by Carter. 1-0 to Spain. Here is Paraluelo shooting from the angle. Lucy Bronze gets back, but Spain look the better of the two sides, the stronger of the two sides, the physically fitter of the two sides. 5 minutes of stoppage time left. England's dream is fading fast, 1-0 down.
It is, and it's unfortunate, but this is fantastic play again from Bonmatí. I mean, Kira Walsh, I don't think it's been her best game today, but Bonmatí, I said it'd have to take a player to have to do a job on her for us to win this game, and I think she's been excellent. Now they've got a corner, they'll be looking to keep the ball in there. Paraluelo gets the shot off. Lucy Bronze, fair play to her, she's left everything out there today, genuinely, but she's getting overrun.
4.5 minutes remain. England fans can barely watch. Abelliera's deep corner to the far post. Good header away, that by Jess Carter. England have not had any real control of the ball during stoppage time at all. Spain have been outstanding in their approach, and those England supporters, glum looks on faces. Spain 1, England 0 if you're just joining us live on Talksport in the Women's World Cup final. One of 450 live football commentaries will bring you this season. Some of the Spain fans can barely watch either, but the look of disappointment is etched on England faces. Less than 4 minutes of stoppage time remain. A corner for Spain on the far side of the field. It'll be whipped in high, left-footed by Paraluelo. Paredes coming into the back post. Lucy Bronze with a brave header. England get a goal kick out of it, and it's getting to that point, Leanne Sanderson, where it's going to be now or never for the Lionesses.
I cannot believe Paraluelo has put that into the box. There's 4 minutes to go. Surely you keep that in the corner. I'm glad that she put it in there because it allows England to go down the other end, but surely you have better game management than that. Keep it in the box. They've got good game players, ball players in their team that can possess the ball. Keep it in the corner. It might be boring, but that's what you've got to do to see out a game. But I can't believe they put the ball into the box.
Spain 1, England 0. Jess Carter's long ball down the field, headed away by Paredes for Spain, not convincingly. Hemp trying to seize upon the second ball. Deflection off Carmona. Do England have the belief they can get an equaliser with 3 minutes of stoppage time to go? 3 of 13 remain. Otherwise, it's going to be defeat in the World Cup final. But Spain are on the counter. Hernandez on the burst, driving forward up the right-hand side. Gets away from Greenwood. If she's sensible, she'll head to the corner flag. Greenwood slides in and just about whips that from under the feet of Hernandez. A brilliant tackle. Last-ditch defiance from Alex Greenwood, but it won't be enough here for England as it stands. 2.5 minutes remain. England trail Spain to Olga Carmona's first half goal, which looks like being the winner. Here is Beth England, though, for the Lionesses, chesting it down, and a back heel at that stage in the game. She's given it straight back to Spain again, and in many ways that sums up a disjointed England display.
It does, and I want to give credit to Alex Greenwood because that was an absolutely brilliant tackle from her to recover the ball from Hernandez. Bethany England there just back heels. It has to play the ball forward, keep it continuing to play. You know, they've got a free kick now, Spain, and this is going to play into their hands. But I can't believe that Spain have not kept the ball in those corner areas at all. They're looking to still go forward even with 2 minutes to go.
Sarina Wiegman standing down the barrel, staring down the barrel of competitive defeat for the first time as England head coach, and she will become the first senior head coach to lose 2 senior World Cup finals in either men's or women's game. She's done a remarkable job for the Lionesses. Maybe there are 1 or 2 questions to be asked today. Here's Paraluelo, 1-0 Spain. Paraluelo in the box, Jess Carter gets there. England have a free kick. 90 seconds of added time remain. It really is now or never now.
It is now or never. Really good recovery there again from Jess Carter. Mary Earps just needs to launch this. Route 1, get everybody forward. You can see the Spanish players and the coaches saying the ball should be pushed further back.
They're on the edge of the technical area ready to celebrate. This is it for England, surely. Millie Bright looking to burst through the middle. Cleared away by Carmona of Spain. Spain going down, going to ground whenever they get the chance. There's a foul on Putellas. A free kick to Spain. We're into the last minute of added time, and Spain are nearly there, leading by a goal to nil, and victory, the taste of World Cup glory, is so nearly upon them, and for England it will be the most desperate feeling of failure at the final hurdle.
Well, and it's clever play from Carmona. She draws the foul, plays a nice little touch around the outside, 1-2 on the outside of the foot. You know, there's 30 seconds to go. England could still do it, I still believe, but the way the game's gone, we've just been completely outplayed first and second. You can see the substitutes from Spain getting ready to run on the field of play to celebrate.
Looks of glee on Spanish faces. Spain feel that they've nearly won the match. Reaction to come on Talksport. England are about to lose the World Cup final. They've got 10 seconds of stoppage time left and they're 1-0 down to Spain. Here goes Lauren Hemp. She's got Beth England in the middle. Chloe Kelly is there too. One last chance. Hemp crosses, headed away, comes out towards Millie Bright, throws herself at it. Hammered clear by Paredes. We've had the last of the few minutes, the few seconds of stoppage time. 13 were added, 13 have been played. Abaliera's gone down inside the penalty area, holding her head. Still no final whistle from the referee. Spain 1, England 0. England might have one last chance from a throw to come.
It was a great opportunity. It was a really good ball into the box from Lauren Hemp. I was hoping the ball was going to fall to Millie Bright or Chloe Kelly, but it wasn't to be.
England have one last chance. Spain have brought everybody back. Jess Carter's long throw. Spain think they're there. Spain are ready to celebrate. Spain lead 1-0. The long throw by Carter up towards Millie Bright is headed away. Stanway lofts it long. Chloe Kelly far post. Ona Batcher got a touch. England corner right at the end. Here comes Mary Earps, surely. Well, Spain are desperate for the final whistle. Mary Earps is being waved forward. It's a final whistle that won't come for Spain just yet. England 1-0 down on Talksport. This is it. Chloe Kelly to take the corner. Can they send the game to extra time? Kelly's delivery. Goalkeeper grabs it high. Kata Cole took it above her head. Took it true. She goes down. She's mobbed by her teammates. And that is it. Spain are the World Cup winners. And it is heartache for the Lionesses. Having travelled so far across the world, the dream down under ends with defeat in the final in Sydney. Spain are Women's World Cup winners for the first time in their history, and Serena Wiegmann's England are left with the desperate, gut-wrenching feeling of what might have been 57 years of World Cup heartache for England's senior teams. I'm sorry to tell you that that heartache will go on and on and on. For the Lionesses, a remarkable year punctuated by almost complete and total and utter success. But when it came to the final hurdle, the final match of their World Cup journey, they just didn't quite have enough. Spain, the World Cup winners. Olga Carmona, the captain, the goal scorer, in tears. England players on the field in Stadium Australia, hands on hips, some don't know where to look. Serena Wiegmann suffers her first competitive defeat as England boss. England's first defeat in any proper competition since the last World Cup in 2019. And despite the glory days of 2022, when England became European champions, the wait for a first World Cup win for the Lionesses and a first World Cup win for any England senior side since 1966 will go on to another year. Spain are the 2023 Women's World Cup winners. They have beaten England in the final in Sydney by a goal to nil.
Oh my goodness me, the heartache continues, as Joe said, and this one, Adrian Durham, really hurts.
You're not wrong. It's devastating. Listen, there's a lot of things we could say, and I want to say about Serena Wiegmann and how she managed that situation from half-time onwards. But first of all, you've got to say, for England to get that far and to get that close and to push Spain that hard, given all the injuries they had pre-tournament, given the fact that so much went against them and they weren't particularly brilliant in some games of this tournament, then you've got to give them credit. It's a valiant effort, bearing all of that in mind. But I think that this is one game where Serena Wiegmann, as brilliant as she's been, is going to look back and regret certain decisions.
I know exactly what decisions you're talking about there. 45 minutes, at half-time, as we went back down to watch and Joe and Leanne took over, I said to you in my head, they've just said that Rachel Daly and Alessia Russo are coming off. I mean, you've got the WSL Golden Boot winner and Alessia Russo, who's scored 3 goals in this tournament so far, coming off the pitch when you're 1-0 down in a World Cup final. I just don't understand that.
I don't understand it. I'd understood that changes were needed. I thought going to a 4 made sense as well. But to take 2 goal scorers off when you need goals and to not put Beth England on at that point, I couldn't get my head around it at all. I thought it was a very strange decision. I think that I looked at Sarina Wiegman just before half-time and I thought she looked a little bit confused, and I may be totally wrong, but I think she's just overthought it in her head and left us with no goal scorers on the pitch at the start of the second half. The other decision was to push Millie Bright up front as early as she did, left us short at the back, so they kept exploiting that. We were lucky not to concede again. Millie Bright I don't think was that effective up front, but to do it that early, knowing we were going to have a lot of injury time. You said to me there's going to be at least 10 minutes, and there was 13, so she would surely have worked that out, or people around her would have told you there's going to be at least 10 minutes. And to push Millie Bright that far forward, that early on in the game, I thought was a really odd decision. And even after that, Beth England comes on, but it's too little too late with Beth England. What, she have 15 minutes of the 90 left?
Not even that really, and you know, it takes you a little bit of time to get up to speed with the game as well. Leanne Sanderson as a striker, how did you feel when you saw those changes, and what on earth would be going through Alessia Russo and Rachel Daly's heads?
I've been there myself, not to be pulled in a World Cup final, but in a game where you get pulled at half-time, it's the worst feeling unless you're injured. So I wasn't going to question Sarina Wiegman at all, because every time even last summer when she took off, Beth Mead and brought players in, I was like, why would she do that? And then we won the game against Spain, took off Frank Kirby as well. I think the decisions today, I don't think they were the reasons why we lost. I think we were outplayed from minute 1. Second, Spain were first to everything, second to everything. We were outplayed today, ultimately. But those decisions, Beth England came on in the 87th minute of normal time with 13 minutes that were added on. That's not enough time, at all. You can see that. And I think taking off Alessia Russo makes absolutely no sense. Adrian makes a really good point there. We had no proven goal scorers. Yes, Lauren Hemp, but she's almost become a goal scorer and she's been amazing during this tournament. But we just weren't anywhere near it today. We looked like the occasion got the better of us, and that's what happened. But I will say, fair play to Lionesses. We got to the final, because I know it's going to be all doom and gloom now, Faye, and I don't want it to be the focus. We done well to get to this point. As Sarina Wiegman, we far exceeded expectations. But if you're critiquing those substitutions, absolutely, I have no idea what those types of substitutions are. And you and me, Faye, know all too well Sarina Wiegman doesn't usually do that. Doesn't change her lineup and doesn't make substitutions at half time. And to follow on from what Adrian said, almost was second guessing herself. Someone should have been saying, why is Millie Bright going up so high up the field of play in that? She did it in the Euros last summer, but it might have worked then, but it's not going to work against a team like Spain. They are so good. They have some of the best players in the world in their team, and we just got outplayed today completely. They were better than us. All over the field of play were better than us.
I agree with you 100%, and I think this is the most frustrating thing, because I went into this game with such confidence that England didn't even got to the final, bearing in mind the ups and downs that they'd had throughout the tournament, the problems that they'd had coming into it with injuries, then all the solutions that Sarina Wiegman had provided. I thought, you know what, they have experienced every single type of thing going against them, and they've come out of it, and I expected them to do exactly the same today.
As England manager, sorry Leanne, as England manager, it's the first time that Sarina's been found wanting, I think, or to be seriously questioned about some of her decisions, and we're right to question those decisions. But Leanne makes a really good point. Leanne, you're spot on. Spain were superb, and I think that we've been unlucky, England, in that we've come up against a Spain side at a particular moment in time where they seemingly are in disarray, yet that appears to have galvanised the players who were in Australia for the World Cup. Bob Matty was untouchable today. I mean, she was almost literally untouchable. If she isn't the best player in the world right now, I'd love to know who is. That was an exceptional performance from her. But all that's been going on behind the scenes, all the trouble with the coach, all of that just seems to have brought Spain together and worked in their favour. And Leanne, from England's point of view, that's just unfortunate timing.
It is, and they're a different Spain team. Yes, there's 12 players that are missing, but you're right, it galvanised them. And it's interesting, we talk about England having off-the-field problems with obviously trying to fight for equal pay. I mean, this Spanish team have so many problems, and it has galvanised them. I feel for all the players, I really do, and I think you're right, Adrian. You know, I think Serena Wiegmann, again, her team selection today, we can question that now. I will, because I think Lauren James should start these games. I think she's our best player. I think if you start Ella Toon and it comes off, then absolutely, but you have to question that, because Lauren James is our most influential player, 3 goals, 3 assists during this tournament, still up there as one of the top goal scorers, and missed 2 games. So, you know, and bringing in Chloe Kelly and Lauren James, it was almost like they couldn't find their rhythm because the team was playing so badly. Kira Walsh didn't have her best game today, and that's almost like a domino effect on the rest of the team, because they look at Kira Walsh as a big responsibility for her, but they look at Kira Walsh as that player, like that quarterback of the team that can get everything going, and when she's not at it, the rest of them seem to kind of crumble. But taking off Alessia Russo at half time doesn't make sense to me. It never will make sense to me.
I'm watching the pictures of the Lionesses absolutely devastated on the pitch at Stadium Australia. They know how close they were. As you say, Leanne, they were outplayed today, and I think that's what's going to hurt them most, actually.
Yeah, and I said it the other day when Australia played against England. It was almost like the occasion got the better of Australia, because they didn't really up their tempo. They looked flat. I think we looked like that. And I looked in the lineup, you know, when we were walking out to the game, you could see, I thought, oh, the players look focused. Actually, maybe they were just absolutely nervous. You can do all this stuff off the field, you know, the mindset, what does it feel like? But it's managing your emotions, and it's amazing, because I know the focus will be on Serena Wiegmann getting to 2 back-to-back World Cup finals and not winning, but she's taken teams that had no right to even be there in the first place to another level. So I'm going to focus on that for sure.
Yeah, I think we should focus on some of the positives, actually, because it is a step further. They won the Euros. They've got to the final of a World Cup for the first time. That's a real positive to take. Bearing in mind everything coming into this tournament, everything they've contended throughout it as well, it's still positive. They're not going to be feeling that right at this moment. I'll be honest, I don't really feel like that right at this moment. But I think on reflection... Yeah, I feel sick. On reflection, I think they will. So let's focus on some of the positives, and one of those in particular was Mary Earps, because let's be fair, this would not be a 1-0 scoreline without Mary Earps.
No, it wouldn't, and it was a fantastic save. It was a poor penalty from Jenny Hermoso, probably the only thing she'd done wrong all game, and Mary Earps seemed to know exactly where she was going. And I think apart from the game against Colombia, when the ball from Santos went over her head, she's been exceptional, and that's why she's the best goalkeeper in the world. I think, you know, fair play, we're seeing scenes of Alex Greenwood on our screen getting stitched up on the field of play, coming straight back on. You know, that's the type of spirit this team has. But I feel for the players, after having that glimpse of success last summer, you feel it. It's one of the hardest moments when you lose a game like this and you're out there having to watch the trophy presentation happen. But sometimes that can find something within you that will make you think, I don't want this to happen again. The only thing that concerns me is that in 4 years, the other teams will come back stronger. USA will come back stronger. Germany, Brazil, Canada. Those teams will be stronger, and we have to grow from this, and we have to keep getting better.
You're right, it was a golden opportunity because so many of the big guns had gone out early, Leanne, you're spot on. And I think the Mary Earps save, listen, there's some who've got still pictures of her being off a line, I don't care, it was a brilliant save. And I thought that would inspire England to go on and dominate the game. And for about 2 minutes, I thought Spain were all over the place. But fair play to Spain, because they galvanised themselves again in the midst of missing a penalty, which would have seen the game off. That would have been it. In the midst of missing that, they got their calmness back, got their foot on the ball, and they did really well.
I think we can get some reaction from the tunnel. Our England reporter Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is at Stadium Australia. Who are you with, Courtney?
No one at the moment. We're still waiting. The players are out on the pitch. We're down here, obviously, absolutely devastated, and just listening to what you guys are saying. Maybe a little bit of a different feel inside the stadium. I think, look, you can argue, you know, over the changes that Serena Wiegmann has made, but I do think they look better in the second half. I'm not saying they look good, but they certainly looked better from the first half, which probably wasn't overly difficult from the way they got overrun. But I think there's a lot of players as well, regardless of the decisions that Serena Wiegmann made, were below par today. I think the occasion got to them, and sometimes that's something that you can't really manage, those individual players, and unfortunately there was a lot of them that didn't play to their potential today, and I think that's the overriding feeling that we've got at the moment.
Where do you think we lost the match?
I think in the midfield. I think it's, you know, I hate to pick out individual players, but it's probably the worst performance I've ever seen from Kira Walsh, really. Normally she's the metronome, she's the one where normally she gets the ball and she's always in space, and it seems that, you know, Spain sort of got her number today when she was trying to get the ball and play forward. There was someone on her back, she was getting pickpocketed with the ball, and because then we didn't have that rhythm of going through Kira, we struggled to find a different way to play. And I do maybe agree with the fact that probably Beth England should have been brought on earlier, but as I say, I just unfortunately think we've hit a moment where there's a majority of the players in the squad that, you know, wouldn't have played in the way that they wanted to, which is, you know, you never want that to happen on a World Cup final.
No, absolutely. We'll talk about Kira Walsh in a second, but there has been a goal at Carrow Road. Which way has it gone, Ian Abrahams?
2 goals, they've both gone to Norwich. It's Norwich 3, Millwall 0. First goal on 48 minutes rather, free kick left hand side by Gabriel Sara. Josh Sargent got to the ball before the goalkeeper and headed in via both posts. It kissed both posts before it went in. Second goal just been scored in the second half by Ashley Barnes. Jack Stacey down the right hand side getting the ball in low. Barnes had one shot that was smothered, and when it came back out to him, he swiveled on it and fired it into the corner. This is now game over. It's a question of how many Norwich get. Norwich 3, Millwall 0.
Thank you very much, Ian. Back to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk at Stadium Australia as we react to England's 1-0 defeat in the Women's World Cup. Spain are world champions, and Adrian Durham's just made a good point that we were actually talking about on the pod during the week, whether or not Kira Walsh was actually fully fit. You've obviously seen her train, Courtney, been in and around the England camp. Was she fully fit?
I think so. I just think there's, as I say, not just her, there were so many players that seemed like the occasion got to them, and sometimes as well it's you've got to hold your hands up and say Spain from start to finish were excellent today. They had absolutely everything. The way that they play out of tight spaces was absolutely ridiculous on 1 and 2 touch, and they were very, very good today, took their chance. And I think as well we've got to remember in terms of Nigeria, Colombia, at times we were exposed, and I think because of the level of those teams that we were playing, we didn't get punished so much, whereas I think what we've seen is a fantastic Spain side that got in those areas in between, sort of behind the wing backs, and then actually they've had the ability to be clinical and end up getting it was only 1 in the end, but you know, creating very, very good opportunities and finishing them off, whereas I think before that, as I say, there were teams that were getting in those positions and looked dangerous, but just didn't have the ability to put the final touches on it in the final third.
And it's fine margins, isn't it? I mean, I heard the thump of the crossbar when Lauren Hemp hit it on the 16th minute. That goes in, and it changes the momentum shift of the game. And it's, you know, we're talking millimetres.
Yeah, of course, and you know, goals change games. That's the old saying, isn't it? But I think you've also got to remember Parayuelos, she's hit the post. Mary Earps has made a couple of fantastic saves, obviously the penalty save and the one towards the end as well. So I think, yeah, it's unfortunate, and I think it's probably, you know, throughout this tournament, it's just unfortunate the way that this sort of performance has come for England. I think throughout we've looked at them, the determination, they've found a way, whereas for me they looked at times lost on this pitch, and that's because, again, you know, Spain were just that good. I'll be honest, they blew me away, and I know how good this Spain team are and what they're capable of, but seeing it firsthand and the way that they play, 1 and 2 touch, and they just didn't give England any opportunity to get into the game, really.
No, it's definitely the best I've seen Spain play defensively in this tournament, without a shadow of a doubt. I think they learnt a massive lesson from that 4-0 schooling by Japan in the group stages. And Leanne Sanderson, we're just waiting for the trophy presentation. Unfortunately, it won't be Millie Bright stepping up to receive the World Cup and bring it home for England. They're going to be getting runners-up medals, the Lionesses. They look absolutely devastated on the pitch as they wait for that ceremony to take place, with the Spain players celebrating all around them. How do you come back from something like this? Because we know the momentum that they've had the past year after winning the Euros. This is going to take a little while for them to reorganise themselves and get over, isn't it, psychologically?
Yeah, well, these ones definitely hurt. You know, there's all these things in the back of your mind. There was already going to be a trophy victory parade in London on Tuesday. That's not going to be happening anymore. But I think sometimes, you know, this defeat will hurt for a while. I was always, you know, I hated losing, don't we all? And I was one of those players that really took losing really hard. So people need to galvanise, get around the players, because they'll be feeling it. Even the ones that haven't played, they've been there throughout the whole tournament. And being in the tournament when you haven't played any minutes is also a hard thing to do as well. So this team is still a good team. You know, to become a great team, you have to sustain that type of success. We won the Euros, which is fantastic, but winning the World Cup is completely different. You know, we saw today in this game, the players just wasn't at it. We didn't deserve to win today, Faye. We didn't. This one hurts me. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I feel a bit sick. Do you know what I mean? Because I played for England myself 50 times and played in major tournaments, and I've been there when we've lost, you know, in finals. But last summer, it felt like everything had changed. It felt like we have this, we find a way. You said it yourself, Faye. You felt like we were always going to find a way, and we just fell short. And, you know, you asked that question to Courtney Sweet-McKirk about Kira Walsh. I just don't think she had a good game. She looked fit in the last game, and, you know, we can all make excuses, but they were just better than us today. Hold your hands up sometimes and say, you know what, they were better than us.
4 years to use it to fuel them, but of course some of these players won't necessarily be playing for England in 4 years' time as they kind of come towards the end of their international careers. But the Euros in 2025 is going to be absolutely huge in Switzerland. They'll be defending their title, but it's a long way to wait, isn't it? And Adrian said it there, this was the opportunity, this was the chance for them, with all the big guns out, in inverted commas. It was such a wide open tournament. I don't know how they're going to sleep for the next few nights.
Yeah, and they probably won't. You know, it's a long journey back from Australia, but these players, I would say they did their best. That's all you can ask for, but Spain were just better. I think over the whole tournament, when you look at everybody we played throughout, we had a decent run to the final when you think about it. Apart from Australia in the semis, you know, playing in our group was a pretty easy group. We almost lost to Haiti in the first game, and people did say that underwhelming performances that happened. We haven't played at our best during this tournament, but we found a way to win against Colombia, against Australia, and then you think they just know how to get it over the line. Ultimately, if you don't have the quality, like in the game today, that's what's going to happen. Against Spain, they are so good. People go back and watch the game. I'll go back and watch the game in a few days, because this one will hurt me.
A few days. I was going to say, I'm going to have to take a week.
I won't be able to. But when you watch them and you watch Spain, the way they have the ball, they never, ever, ever panic. The Spanish team in the back line, I thought Carmona was exceptional. Paredes, they just never panic. And even when we were piling on the pressure, they always found a way. They're clever. They go down when the little slightest of touches. It's annoying, but it's game management. So fair play to Spain. They deserved it today.
And it's what we've been good at, to be fair, in the tournament. Joe Shannon, by the way, is going to have the trophy presentation. I think that looks like the former USA boss, Jill Ellis, carrying out the World Cup trophy. Joe Shannon, in better circumstances, I wish I was throwing to you to give us the trophy presentation, but take it away.
Well, as you say, Faye, we all wanted the World Cup to come home, but England will have to wait. The Lionesses, another 4 years between them and the opportunity to claim football's greatest prize. But for Spain, their first major tournament final, their first ever World Cup triumph, and that after all of the disputes before the tournament, all of the controversy surrounding the head coach Jorge Vilda. But whatever is to follow after that dispute, undoubtedly today Spain are winners. The World Cup trophy, gleaming in silver and gold, a spiral design with a football at the top, has been placed on a purple coloured plinth, and now the presentation ceremony will get underway. The dignitaries have been assembled, with the FIFA president Gianni Infantino leading the cluster of people who are standing up on that podium here at Stadium Australia. And Salma Paraluelo is being presented with the award for Best Young Player of the tournament. And Her Majesty Queen Letizia of Spain, a hug and a kiss for Salma Paraluelo. The Prime Minister of Australia is there, as so too the UK Secretary of State, the Right Honourable James Cleverly, and Debbie Hewitt, who is the chair of the Football Association, among the dignitaries, as Paraluelo is presented with a silver trophy with a silver ball on top of it. What an impact she's made for Spain over the course of the tournament. Just 19 years of age. There will be a World Cup winners' medal around her neck in a few moments' time, and Salma Paraluelo and Spain have written themselves into World Cup history in Australia tonight. But for England, Leanne Sanderson, you just can't escape the feeling of such desperate disappointment as Mary Earps, who saved a penalty in the final, goes up to pick up the award for Golden Glove.
Yeah, it's good to see Mary Earps getting honoured. She wouldn't want to be lifting up this trophy. She wants the World Cup trophy, but fair play to Paraluelo. I think that decision makes sense. Best young player, so much more to come from her. 19 years old, playing for Barcelona and winning the World Cup and scoring 2 fantastic goals during this tournament that took Spain through to the next round.
Paraluelo, who was the first teenager to score in a semi-final for a winning team since Pelé in 1958. Mary Earps outstanding at this tournament for England, a glum look on her face as she holds the golden glove up to the sky. And now the turn of, for me, the player of the match today, Aitana Bonmatí, who is going to pick up the Golden Ball award here, the Spaniard, outstanding across the course of the tournament, 3 goals across the entire World Cup. The eventual winner of the Golden Boot is a player from Japan, Hinata Miyazawa, who won the Golden Boot with 5 goals in the end, but it's Bonmatí who wins the Golden Ball award for her contribution across the tournament for Spain, least of all in the final tonight, Leanne.
What a player she is. I agree with what Adrian Durham said previously. Best player in the world right now. What a player she is. In the absence of Alexia Putellas at Barcelona this year, she's been absolutely brilliant in the Champions League, and she's just a fantastic footballer, and I'm so glad that she's able to show it on the world stage.
Earps and Bonmatí, shoulder to shoulder, arms around each other. Earps choosing very sportingly to pose for the award with Bonmatí. England defeated in the Women's World Cup final by Spain. There'll be so many questions for the England side, and of course the repercussions will be spoken about in the coming days and weeks. The England squad are all gathered to the left of the presentation ceremony, and that huge plinth with FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 written on the top of the plinth in gold. And now we have the presentation for some of the match officials who are getting arms of thanks and handshakes from the dignitaries, and the arms of Gianni Infantino holding up the medals around the necks for the officials today. And of course all of this happening while England are still going through the commiserations and the recriminations. England players that we've seen in tears, some of whom didn't play a single minute at this World Cup, but all have contributed to the England camp. And England have continued to inspire millions upon millions of women and girls all across this country, but ultimately they will be flying back halfway across the world, I think, Leanne Sanderson, with a real sense of an opportunity missed at this World Cup. It is gutting for all of the Lionesses.
It is, and these ones are going to hurt, not for days, not for weeks, but for months, and losing in this magnitude when you're so close. But they were second best at everything today, England, and I think Spain for sure deserved this.
Will we see Sarina Wiegman at the next World Cup? Her contract runs out in 2025. She says she has no plans to leave her role, already being linked with the USA job, which is now vacant after Vlatko Andonovski left his role following their round of 16 exit. The World Cup in 2027 feels a long time away. At least the Lionesses will have the opportunity to defend their European Championship title in Switzerland in 2025. And now today's match officials, led by Tori Penso, the American referee from the United States, the first American to referee a World Cup final, and they have their medals presented to them by the dignitaries led by Gianni Infantino. As I say, there's United Kingdom representation from the worlds of politics and sports on the stage as well, and Infantino is at the head of the dignitaries as those presentations go on. The floodlights still on here at Stadium Australia in Sydney. The lights coloured purple now, which is the colour of this presentation plinth, and very shortly we will see the England players come up to receive their runners-up medals. And after all of the tribulations and trials of the tournament, all of the adversity that England had faced, they had one game to go for glory, and on the day they didn't really turn up, it felt like, Leanna. There wasn't really a single England player, perhaps Mary Earps aside, who you feel really gave their all in terms of quality of performance. No lack of effort, but the quality just wasn't there.
No, it wasn't there, and I think as soon as Alessia Russo went up at half-time, we saw that Lauren Hem kind of shrunk inside herself a little bit. There was no options up top, there was no combination play. Even when Chloe Kelly came on and Lauren James, it was quite stale and quite flat, and we usually look at Chloe Kelly to galvanise the team, but you can't keep bringing on players expecting them to make things happen in a short space of time. You need to take care of the game in 90 minutes, and ultimately Spain were the better team.
Millie Bright leads the England squad. The stand-in skipper, of course, remember, no Leah Williamson, no Beth Mead, no Fran Kirby at this tournament for England. Could they have made the difference in the final for Serena Wiegman? We will never know. The players who haven't played a part on the field in terms of the tournament, but all of them valued squad members. I can see Jordan Nobbs and Katie Robinson, Esme Morgan, Lotte Woburn-Moy, none of whom have had the chance to play on the field at this World Cup, but all of whom make such a contribution to making this Lionesses squad the special squad that it is. And the Lionesses still, as I say, proudly European champions going into the Euros in Switzerland in 2025. But I think there will be one or two regrets as to how this 2023 World Cup has eventually panned out. We're not used to seeing the Lionesses end up on the losing side. Their first ever competitive defeat under Serena Wiegman has come in the 39th game of their Dutch head coach's tenure. And for Serena Wiegman, after the heartbreak of World Cup final defeat with the Netherlands in 2019, I'm sorry to say that history has repeated itself in 2023. She's at the back of the queue. She is a relatively quiet and unassuming figure when you speak to her, perhaps in post-match or before a game, but she has inspired so many, not just in the England setup, but as I say, generations, millions of women and girls across the country of England. And Serena Wiegman will come again in an England managerial role. A huge cheer across all of Stadium Australia, the commiserations and the words from Gianni Infantino, Her Majesty Queen Letizia of Spain, and the others in the FIFA delegation may feel hollow at this stage, but Serena Wiegman, as she gets a big hug from the chair of the FA, the FIFA Vice President, Debbie Hewitt, has achieved a great deal. She has taken England to a new level. She made the impossible dream a potential reality, and though England have not succeeded on the world stage, ultimately, when it came to the final hurdle, this England side, this group of heroines who achieved so much at the Euros, will come again. There will be brighter days ahead for England.
There will be, and I think it's obviously saying Serena Wiegman has lost back-to-back World Cups doesn't look good, but I think it's important to remember she's got squads. When she's taken in squads like the Netherlands and England, they weren't ranked number one in the world. They had no right to even be there. When you get there, you have that feeling that we have that divine right that we should win. It doesn't work like that. You know, and Spain deserved this, but Serena Wiegman, I give her so much credit, because before she got this job, we were nowhere near being European champions, nowhere near World Cup finals. Under Phil Neville, we wasn't. So, fair play to Serena Wiegman.
And now beneath these dark Sydney skies, the scenes that England supporters didn't want to see. Spain, jubilant, beaming smiles on faces, tears of joy. Spanish flags have been unfurled in red and gold. Hugs for all of the Spain players, hopping up and down. The joy of victory. They can't quite believe it, some of these Spain players. And the contrasted emotions, of course. There isn't much between defeat and victory on a day like this. Ultimately, there wasn't even much in the game in the World Cup final. But it's England who've ended up on the losing side this time. And Spain, in just a few moments, are about to lift the World Cup for the first time ever. Spain players kissing that gleaming gold and silver trophy as they walk beyond it. The likes of Alba Redondo, the likes of Laia Cadena, Irina Paredes, who are both outstanding in central defence. The goalkeeper, Cata Cole, a surprise name in the squad, only made her Spain debut at this World Cup. What a goalkeeper she will be across her career for Barcelona and Spain. And in just a few moments there will be a medal round the neck too of Alexia Putellas, arguably one of the greatest women's players of all time. Had a desperate passage in the last year due to injury. She hasn't been involved. She hasn't been able to play her part, perhaps as she would have liked, across this Spain World Cup. She and Hermoso, the the all-time leading scorer, missed a penalty in the final, but in the end it didn't matter. She and Hermoso have swapped shirts for the trophy presentation, but a beaming smile on the face of Alexia Putellas, who's won everything that there is to win in the club game, and now a World Cup winner, Leanne.
Absolutely incredible, coming on in the Champions League final as well in the dying minutes of the game. We know she'd be a mainstay in this team had she not been coming back from that ACL injury. So I think Jorge Vilda has managed this situation very well, bringing her into the game to see it out, and Paraluelo starting. But this team, this Spanish team, against all the things and all the problems they've had off the field of play, 12 of their players are not here. 3 of them decided to come back for this tournament. I can't even imagine how those players that are not here must be feeling, and fair play to them, and the ones that have decided to come as well.
And that dispute may continue. Who knows how long Jorge Vilda has got in the Spain hot seat. Maybe there'll still be doubts about his credentials, and there will be some who feel that even despite this achievement, Spain have done it in spite of their head coach. That is maybe a debate for another day, but without question, Spain are the winners tonight at Stadium Australia in Sydney. England flew all the way across the world. They flew down under in hope of glory and success, but the wait will continue. That long wait for an English senior World Cup victory that has taken place since those heady days of Sir Alf Ramsey and Bobby Moore in 1966 and the trophy at Wembley. That is our solitary and last memory of an England senior side capturing football's greatest prize. Ivana Andres is at the back of the queue in terms of the Spain squad and players, the last of the Spain squad to receive their winners' medals, and in just a few moments Spain will lift the World Cup. Gianni Infantino is there, the FIFA president. He clasps the trophy in one hand, and now he walks across to the middle of the podium here, Infantino, and he will present it to the Spain captain, Olga Carmona. Spain are ready to celebrate. Perhaps Putellas will get a chance to get her hand on the trophy as well. The trophy is being held up by Queen Letizia of Spain, and it's Andres who will lift the World Cup high into the dark night sky at Stadium Australia. Spain have won the 2023 Women's World Cup, but for the Lionesses, I'm sad to say, it will go down this tournament as the one that got away. The gold and silver World Cup trophy is hoisted high into the sky. England and Lionesses supporters all across the country, all across the world, from those listening at home to Talksport to those in at Stadium Australia, were hoping it would be Millie Bright's moment. We're hoping it would be the Lionesses' moment. But after the glory of winning the European Championships this summer, this time, ultimately, for the Lionesses, it was not to be. The Lionesses, second best on the night, runners-up in the tournament, but for Spain, World Cup glory for the first time in their history. Spain, the winners of the FIFA Women's World Cup for 2023.
Congratulations to Spain. Thank you to Joe Shannon, to Leanne Sanderson and to Adrian Durham and everyone at Talksport involved in what has been an absolutely incredible Women's World Cup. To all of you as well for listening and supporting as always. I just wish we were all partying at Box Park in the early hours like we did a year ago. All the fallout from Sydney coming up on Talksport with the Sunday session. Sam Matterface, Perry Groves and Jenna Scalacci with you for the afternoon. You'll hear from Serena Wiegmann and her players in the tunnel with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk as they come to terms with losing their first competitive match under her on the biggest stage. Wasn't meant to be for the Lionesses, but a statue of them will still be erected outside Wembley Stadium after their Euros success last year, and their legacy continues. They went a step further, making their first ever World Cup final, but fell at the final hurdle in Sydney. World Cup glory is Spain's.
We've got a cast of thousands today here at Box Park as well. Perry Groves is here. Hello, good afternoon. You're a bit flat now, aren't you?
Very flat. You know what? I felt nervous watching. Right?
I was so nervous watching. I did the final last year, the Euro 2022 final, and I tell you what, I was nowhere near as nervous as I was watching the game.
Yeah, but normally when you're nervous, when the referee blows whistle for kick-off, like a player, your nerves go completely. Yeah. They didn't, because I could see that the Lionesses were unbelievably nervous. No, we'll talk about it later on.
Yeah.
My nerves didn't go away for the whole game.
Jenna Scalacci is here, the former Tottenham captain. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Sunday session. Look, I mean, it's heartbreaking in a way, but in the end, let's be completely clear that they were the better team, Spain. We'll come back to you in just a second. Let's go to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, because she's in Stadium Australia, and she's with Millie Bright, the England captain.
I am with Millie. Sorry to ask this question, it's so difficult, but can you just put into word your emotions right now?
A million different ones at the moment, but I think maybe in a couple of weeks we'll be really proud. Right now it's hard. It's disappointing. You know, we want to win. We don't want to come second. But yeah, I think in a couple of weeks we'll be really proud of what we've achieved. And yeah, making a World Cup final. Not many players get to do that. Ultimately, you want to come first, so you want to win the whole thing. But like I said, the medal that we're wearing now, we're still really, really proud. Not many people have it. But yeah, it just went our day.
Yeah, as you say, it's a massive achievement. The nation were behind you, but sometimes you just hold your hands up and say we've come up against a really good side, which Spain looked really good today.
Yeah, definitely. First off, they were definitely the better team, and you know, we still had our chances. I think they had that chance. I think it was very end to end, but I think as soon as you go 1-0 down against a team like that and they possess it so well, it makes it even harder to get the goal back. But we did have our chances. We just today it was just weren't going in the back of the net.
And just, you know, for the next week or so now, what does that look like? Just, you know, debrief, try and calm. Is it time with family and just try and chill?
I think you just have to decompress, really. Just first you have to take it all in. It's been an unbelievable journey, an unbelievable summer. I think you have to let everything settle, let the emotions settle, reflect, and then, you know, have that switch off time, family time, whatever that looks like. I guess I'll just wait and see what happens when I get back. But yeah, I think first and foremost, just let everything settle, and then can really start to appreciate the journey and the summer that we've had, because it's been incredible and we've made a World Cup final.
Millie, yourself and the Lionesses have done yourself proud. Thanks for speaking to us.
Cheers. No worries. Thank you.
That's Millie Bright, and obviously she's emotional, but we have to be a little bit careful of not focusing on the fact that actually England were outplayed for large parts of that game.
Yeah, I think, you know, when they look back and reflect, I think actually Spain were the better team over the 90 minutes. I think you just saw moments during the game where you actually start to think it wasn't going to be our day today. I think you've got to give credit to Spain. I thought they were fantastic. I think they've been well known for when they do play on the front foot, when they do commit bodies forward, that's when they play at their best. And they've been known to be vulnerable in defence, but today we didn't see that at all. That was obviously part of England's game plan to beat them on the counter, but defensively I thought they were just as solid as well. So it's going to hurt. It's so disappointing. I feel like the whole country's just been on this high really since the Euros. But I think at the end of the day, as much as it hurts to say this, I think Spain were the better team.
I don't think there's much doubt about that, is there? Let's get to Stadium Australia once again, because Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is with Jess Carter.
Jess Carter, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry to have to ask this question, but can you just sort of put your emotions, into words for us at the moment?
Yeah, obviously we're disappointed today, but I think beyond proud, for me, proud of myself. First World Cup, and proud of this team. We've overcome every single barrier that we've had up until today, and making amazing memories and moments together. And this team, every single player, every staff member has put everything they can into this tournament, and I'm nothing but proud of everyone.
Yeah, looking at the game today, where do you think it was won and lost? Was it just the fact you came up against a very, very good side this evening?
I think so. For me, I think that we were a little bit off in that first half, and I don't think you can afford to be off it against Spain at any time, let alone in a World Cup final. We definitely came out second half looking a lot more threatening, but just unfortunately a little step off it. I think we weren't clinical enough. Maybe we didn't create as many opportunities, and they had their one chance, and they took it really well.
And in terms of going forward, what this team can achieve, you've achieved so much, a World Cup final, winning the Euros, so coming round to the next major tournament, is that the fact that, right, we've got to go and win this and not necessarily avenge this, but learn from this experience and try and take that forward?
To be honest with you, the next tournament isn't even in my mind. At the moment, just want to live in this moment here, and as disappointed as we are, it's so proud to be here, and we have to remember what we have achieved. Obviously, we want to win every single game that we play in, so of course, once I guess the dust settles a little bit and we've had some time to reflect, and we have to pick ourselves up and get ready to go again.
Jess, you've all done yourselves really proud. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
That was Jess Carter speaking to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk live on Talksport from Stadium Australia. Back here at Box Park, Jen Scalacci is here alongside me, and Perry Groves reflecting on what was, I think England probably feel as if they've done so well to get to the final despite all the problems that they had. We must remember that they're missing their captain, Leah Williamson, missing Beth Mead, Ellen White's retired, Lauren James was suspended for a lot of the tournament, so ultimately it was difficult. But do you think that Serena Wiegmann will come under some criticism for the changes she made at half-time? They were bold, they were brave, but ultimately they didn't come off.
Yeah, I think, if you've just hit the nail on the head. I think if it would have come off, everyone would have thought she was an absolute genius. I think a change needed to change. I think there needed to be a change. I think where they've got away with this tournament is they haven't necessarily been at their best, but they found a way to win, and unfortunately they've come up against a very good Spain team today. Okay, Jen, you'll get used to this. This is the Sunday session, so what happens is that something changes every time you open your mouth. Immediately there's a goal. We always go there, so let's go to Carrow Road, where Ian Abrahams is waiting for us.
Norwich 3, Millwall 1, no more the consolation for the visitors. It's been scored by substitute Ademino Amakeu, who ran forward towards the edge of the penalty area, left of centre, just cut onto his right foot when he was in the box, and curled one beyond Angus Gunn into the far corner. It won't affect the result. Norwich still going third in the table. It's Norwich 3, Millwall 1.
Okay, so much going on today across the Sunday session, so we'll go to Carrow Road for fallout from that game in the Championship with Ian Abrahams. We're off to Villa Park very shortly because waiting for us there is Abigail Davis. But let's get the latest odds for the Aston Villa-Everton game with Betfair. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Sunday session live from Box Park in Wembley after what should have been a post-match party to celebrate World Cup success. It feels a little bit deflated now after Spain beat England by a 1-0 at Sydney Australia Stadium. Let's get reaction from that right now by going live to the stadium and speaking to the England head coach Serena Wiegmann with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
Serena, thank you for joining us. I appreciate this is a difficult question, but can you sum up your emotions right now?
Yeah, very disappointed. That's most of all. So don't feel very well. Very disappointed. At the same time, I think I can be very proud of the team. What we have achieved, how we have grown in the tournament, how we have come back from lots of things thrown at us before the tournament, also during the tournament. We start playing better and better, and I think today Spain was just a very good team too. I think the first half we were struggling. We started really well, had a shot on the crossbar, but then they got really comfortable on the ball and we couldn't get pressed. The second half I think we did better and we got some chances. We played more open too, so they got some chances too, but if it would have been a little bit to our way, we could have scored a goal. But then the rhythm got out of the game again with the penalty, with the injury. And unfortunately, when we tried to really force a goal, we didn't do that good enough to create it. Well, we did get that last chance with the cross, but it didn't go in.
And you made the changes at half-time, nothing that we see from you very often, but do you feel they made the impact that you wanted?
Yeah, well, I think we changed shape, and then you need some other players too. We had to do something, because we weren't able to press enough, and we wanted to have the ball more and control more and get press on our fullbacks out of possession too. I think that worked well because we were more on their half of the pitch and they were struggling a little bit. Unfortunately, we weren't able to score the goal.
Serena, thank you for joining us. You've all made the nation proud.
Thank you.
Well, I think it was an honest assessment from Serena Wiegmann, who said basically they didn't play well enough. They've got better and better as the tournament had gone on, but ultimately when it came to the crunch, Spain were technically better than the way that England played this afternoon. I think you can't ask for more than that, to be honest, in those scenarios.
Yeah, I think she'll be disappointed that you'd have to say the 10 outfield players, Sam, and even when the subs come on, they didn't do themselves justice. There's probably one player who played to a level that we'd expect, and it was the goalkeeper, Mary Earps. Yeah, and she made a brilliant penalty save. We'll get some more reaction in just a second here on Talksport. Let's get reaction now from Spain 1, England 0. I'm delighted to say the original Lionesses, some of them are with me, Maggie, Sue and Pat, from 1972. Watching that, I mean, it's heartbreaking in the end, but you must be so proud how far this team, this generation of players have come over the course of the last few years, because the rise has been meteoric, right?
The rise has been absolutely phenomenal over the last few years. They've done extremely well. They've gone into the tournament with injuries, and it's a development team. You know, they've got experienced players, and Serena can do absolutely anything with this squad.
You guys played in the first internationals that were organised back, 51 years ago. now. Could you have ever dreamed of an England team playing in a full Stadium Australia in front of millions and millions of TV viewers around the world, captivating the heart of the nations in the way that they have done over the course of the last 4 weeks?
No, we never dreamt that would happen. In our first international, there were about 400 people watching, and so it's just grown so much. It's just unbelievable.
I think we were all inside Wembley Stadium this time a year ago, and the party that we had in here afterwards was absolutely terrific. It feels a little bit different today, but there will be questions, and quite rightly so, because one of the things that I suppose comes with development is greater attention and therefore greater criticism about performances and critiquing the performance. What did you think about the way England played today?
Yeah, as you were saying, I think they did get better throughout the tournament. But today, there's just something lacking. Spain were obviously the better team when they were pressing. It felt like there was a chance of scoring, whereas England just wasn't quite onto the ball. I think Mary Earps, as always, was absolutely fantastic. But so was the Spanish goalkeeper. That one that hit the post, I think she just got a tip to that.
And she's not even the first choice for a club. She's the second choice goalkeeper behind Sandra Panos, who didn't come on the trip because she's fallen out with the coach.
That's right. I think maybe we could have put Lauren James on a little bit earlier, because she was electric when she did come in. Maybe that might have made the difference. But at the end of the day, the best team won. Well done, Spain. And commiserations to England. We still love them. They're still the European champions, and they will win it next time, I'm sure, especially with Serena there.
So I thought Spain were dominant in the midfield area. They completely controlled the game with Bonmati, Herrera and Hermoso.
How good is Bonmati, by the way?
Pardon?
How good is Bonmati?
She was unbelievable. Honestly, Sam, just going and getting the ball. She remind me of a little bit of Iniesta. Just going it and lending it and giving it to people. Was you surprised that Serena Wigman didn't try and combat that in midfield and go like a 3 in midfield?
I think to start off with, she had a game plan, and we had those 5 across the midfield, but they were still the game plan. It seemed to be that hit the ball long. So we were missing out those players to start off with, and I think they grew stronger on the ball because we were trying to hit long, but we weren't supporting the front players. We just couldn't get there for some unknown reason. But as you sort of say, that gradually we dropped back into Lucy Bronze, dropped back, and we became a 4, and it started to, we seemed to be a bit more positive on that score, but it just didn't happen to us today.
I think we was looking for the spark, and you were saying about Mary Earps, how brilliant she was. When she saved the penalty from Hermoso, I actually thought that was going to be the spark. That was going to be the lift, and it didn't seem to happen. And the girls just seemed to be riddled with nerves, especially that first sort of half an hour. And when you are nervous, that can impact you. Can be sort of a half a yard to a yard off it. It affects your whole body.
Yes, don't you think there was so much expectation on their shoulders, though? I mean, no matter how you go, how good you are, how well you're prepared, those nerves can get the better of you. I mean, we were terribly nervous before the start, and we weren't even playing. So, how they felt, despite all the psychologists and the rest of the thing, there's still that base instinct, isn't there? And I think it did take them a while to settle. I thought when Earp saved that penalty and she was egging them on, I thought, right, this is the platform. Go ahead now. And they did play better in that second half, but just couldn't get there. So,
Talk to me about handball. What do you think of handball in 2023? Kira Walsh, after a lengthy VAR review, was penalised. The penalty was given against her, flicked the inside of her hand. Listen, in 2023, that is a penalty, but we've come so far away from what should be handball and what is handball. I think every time we see a replay like that, it just muddles with our minds.
It does. I think it was technically a penalty. You can't argue against it, but you just hope that they wouldn't give it, but I think it was.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I still can't get over the fact that yesterday I was watching a game and there wasn't a handball given in the Manchester United-Tottenham game. But that particular incident I thought was pretty clear. I knew there was going to be a penalty very, very quickly. I just don't know why it took so long.
When Caldente obviously goes to go past Kira Walsh can't do anything. She's not putting her hand towards the ball. You have to have your hands out for balance, and she's very, very close to Caldente. You was convinced it was. I said that it's not clear and obvious, and because they kept having to look at it over and over and over again, that to me says it's not clear and obvious. But as soon as the referee's taken over to the screen, you know she's going to be under pressure to give the penalty. So I thought Kira Walsh was just really unlucky, and say Mary Earp saves it, guesses the right way, but we just couldn't seem to be able to kick on and get that spur to go and take the game to Spain.
Talk to me about Serena Wiegmann. What happens next for her? There's lots of talk about her future. She says she wants to stay for England. How important is it that she stays with the women's national team?
I think it's very important that she stays. I think they'll all come home and they'll all reflect on what's happened these last few weeks on the World Cup. And I hope that the FA will encourage her to stay.
Give her a pay rise.
Well, no, I don't think it's about money with her. I think she's built this squad, and she's got a philosophy in that. And I think it's just brilliant that she can continue doing that. Look where she's brought them. You know, she's done they're European champions, we're World Cup World Cup finalists, and their squad. There's just a lot of young players in there and players to come in. So, and I just hope that she stays.
I think she see it as unfinished business.
Yes.
I think that the character that she is and the drive that she has, you said there, she realises this group of players, and you said, Sam, earlier, England without 3 of their best players. That's like England men's team going into the tournament without Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham and John Stones. So for them to work their way through the tournament to get to the final was an achievement.
And by the way, Kira's injured, really. I mean, she's not 100%, is she?
No. Well, she had the injury obviously early on in the tournament, and then no one thought she was going to come back and play, which she did. But as I say, I think there'll be a reflection after this. It'll be proud that they've got to the final. They'll be disappointed that they didn't do themselves justice in the final, because Spain were by far the better side. And if you're being perfectly honest, it could have been 2 or 3 at half time. We were lucky going in 1-0 down at half time. Just didn't click. Lauren James had the one chance, didn't she, where Cole tipped it over the bar. But I think it will be a missed opportunity, but Serena Wiegmann have that drive to go on and go and win it. I think she'll stay for the next round and want to go and win the World Cup next time.
What do you hope is the overall effect of getting to the World Cup final? I mean, we've seen the WSL grow so much over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. The attendances have grown, but also the fact they're playing in the bigger stadiums has also been a lasting impact of the European Championship last year. Do you think that that's what will continue to happen over the course of the next 12 months?
I certainly do, yes. I'm playing more in the big stadiums, but you do want those stadiums to be full. And really, I don't think they can fill them every match yet, but I think we're driving towards that. I think worldwide, I think this World Cup has been immense in driving the women's game forward. I think the likes of Nigeria and Morocco and all those teams have shown what can be.
Fantastic.
I know, they've shown what can be done. Let's get some money into all those teams. There's lots of little girls with dreams in every country in this world. Let's get them all out there. Let's drive it forward now. We've got a great platform to go forward.
Yeah, I was doing the Jamaica-Brazil game, right? And I'm not joking. When you go into the research of how they've got there, you know, needing a crowdfunding in order to be able to just get to the tournament itself. I mean, that kind of thing has got to change over the course of the next 4 years. I mean, there was this discussion this time that FIFA were going to pay each individual player for their time. And then they were saying that actually they can't actually do that. They have to give it to the association. So how much that money goes to the players, I think that's key to make sure that regulation is in for the next tournament. Listen, thank you very much for coming. I hope you've had a good day, despite the fact that the result didn't go the way that we all hoped. But thank you very much, and I hope that we'll get to see you again in a couple of years' time when we're lifting another trophy.
I think England are so resilient, they'll be back next World Cup and we'll get it.
Let's hope so. Thank you very much. Maggie, Sue and Pat from the 1972 Lionesses joining us in Box Bar at Wembley, reflecting on what has been a disappointing day for England, but quite a momentous tournament as far as the women's game is concerned.